back in Charlotte as we get set for the coin toss, and the former Carolina Panther, Julius Peppers, shaking hands with former teammates as we get set for the coin toss. Mike Carey is our referee today.
So much fun talking to Julius Peppers last night. Wow. Greatest player in the history of the Carolina Panthers in my mind. No question about it. Now a Bear. Kind of strange.
All right. Julius gets to call it.
Tails.
Is that a sign?
Well, he wanted to play defense.
Okay,
he called that on purpose.
There you go.
That was planned.
So here we go. The return of Julius Peppers, second player drafted overall in 2002. 8 years here in Carolina, 5 times a Pro Bowl man, and helped lead the Panthers to the Super Bowl one time after the 2004 season. Great day here in Charlotte. 81 degrees, low humidity, light wind. Oh, you can't ask for a better day. It is beautiful.
A couple things to keep our early eyes on. Chicago offensive line changes. They got the 2 young players over on the right side. There's Mike Tice, the offensive line coach. Where's Julius Peppers on the other side defensively for the Chicago Bears, and how will the Carolina Panthers match up to him? And then, of course, the Carolina rookies. Got to watch their production. A lot of speed now. They may make mistakes with Geddes and LaFell, but I guarantee you their mistakes, Sam, at 100 miles an hour.
And you had a look at young Jimmy Clausen. He's making his 3rd NFL start. He is the future, as you said. Last week, in the second half, looked like he was playing a little bit better against New Orleans, but Carolina couldn't make a couple of big plays late in the game. Lost the game 16-14. Couldn't get in position to try and kick a winning field goal.
Yeah, but you know what? He gave them a chance to win at the end. They were in the mix because of ball security. They didn't turn it over only once, and it was on special teams. That will be a big one to look at today. Ball security for Carolina offensively. The Bears always dominant and taking it away.
Carolina deferred, so we'll see the Bears on offense. Reese Lloyd will kick it off. Danielle Manning is deep for the Bears, and here we go. Manning, line drive kick at the goal line. 3 blockers in front of him. He breaks through for a big one. Reese Lloyd trying to slow him down. Manning stays on his feet, caught from behind inside the 40-yard line. Great return by the speedy safety Danielle Manning, one of the top return men in the NFL. And he was caught by Mike Goodson from behind.
Always been a huge fan. Look, there's nobody down there. Why is there nobody down there? Because it was a line drive low kick. So Danielle Manning was already on his horse running, and the coverage units were not even halfway to him down the football field. So partly a bad kick, but that guy is electric, Danielle Manning.
62-yard return. Now from the 38, Matt Forte runs into a pile, gets about a yard, maybe 2. Inside the 37-yard line. There is Todd Collins, who last started in 2007 with the Washington Redskins. Matt Forte, expect him to run the ball. We'll see a lot of Chester Taylor. The offensive line, Jamarcus Webb making his first NFL start. Edwin Williams had a couple of starts when he was with Washington. 2 tight ends on the field. Forte carrying, not much there, bounces it outside and turns the corner. Good run by Matt Forte. A first down at the Carolina 23-yard line. Dan Connor chased him out. Forte is strong and quick.
Well, and the Bears need to run the football. And you'll watch, they've got Forte boxed up right here, but he pops out, and there's no corner support. See, Jordan Pugh is coming off the edge. He fights inside and just loses contain. Great job by Forte, who has got very, very good vision. These guys have got to run the ball today. Jay Cutler, Mike Martz. Look for some balance, Sam, by this offensive line and this offense.
3 wide receivers in. Collins with a little slant to Devin Hester. He's got it, and he's down at the 18-yard line. A pickup of 5 on the play. Check out Carolina on defense. They play a 4-3. No more Julius Peppers there. They'll try to get pass rush from Charles Johnson. The linebackers are excellent. James Anderson, a big game against New Orleans last week with 15 tackles. The rookie Jordan Pugh starting for the injured Sherrod Martin, who's out with a concussion. Toss to Forte. By himself, he turns the wanted to run the ball a lot more than they did last week, and Matt Forte with a couple of big runs on this drive.
Well, and this is something, if you watch on tape, you'll see the crash down right here, which is going to give the edge on the flip 90. See, John Beeson, who's got outside contained, because Tyler Brayton was crashing down, took a bad angle. That's called the old flip 90, where it's just weak. You flip it out to the weakness of the defense, and then Forte turned on the juice for the touchdown.
First rushing touchdown of the season for the Chicago Bears, and the first in their last 9 games going back to last season. Bobby Gold for the extra point. It started with a 62-yard kickoff return by Danielle Manning. It set it up, and then Matt Forte did the hard running and took it in from 18 yards for the touchdown.
Talking to Danny Connor, Jordan Pugh, little reverse psychology. Look, guys, it didn't start good. John, you were in great position to make a play. We called the right defense. He took a bad angle, mental error. Forte takes it to the house.
The rookie Mike Goodson is back deep for Carolina. Low line drive kick is taken by the up man, and it is taken out of bounds by Eric Norwood. Defensive end and linebacker, but decent field position for Carolina's Jimmy Clausen. The rookie out of Notre Dame leads his team onto the field. D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, a 1-2 running combination for Carolina. That's big. You saw the 2 rookie wide receivers starting. The offensive line strong on the left side. Jordan Gross will see a lot of his good friend, Julius Peppers. 2 tight ends, Jeff King and Dante Rosario, open up for Carolina. D'Angelo Williams looking for room. Nothing there. Lance Briggs wraps him up. No gain on the play at the 39-yard line. Brings up a 2nd and 10 for Carolina. The Bears defense, the 4-3. It's led by Julius Peppers. They're looking for someone else to jump out and help them out up front. Linebackers are superb. Briggs and Urlacher playing well, so is Vicentino Samoa. Chris Harris started with the Bears, went to Carolina for 3 years, is back with the Bears. Gary Barnidge, tight end motions. Big hole for D'Angelo Williams. And he is brought down inside the Bears 40 by Danielle Manning, the safety. And that's what makes him so dangerous. He hits the hole. It was a good one.
Well, and a great call to go opposite. Look at all the guys over here. All the Bears, look at you, clearly got room here. You get one block, and D'Angelo is going to be off to the races. And there's the block right there. Fiametta with a very good block. Travell Wharton is going to seal on the inside linebacker, Lance Briggs. And then D'Angelo Williams taking it down past the 40-yard line.
23-yard run down to the 38. It's Williams again. Going the other side, he breaks a tackle. And it takes 3 Bears to bring him down at the 32-yard line. Tim Jennings, the first man to wrap him up, but he needed help.
Well, we all remember Brad Hoover. Brad Hoover's gone now. Now it's Tony Fiametta, and he's going to get a good block right here on the edge. Watch, right on the perimeter. Bang. He gets the block, kicks out Briggs, and then it opens up the hole to where Jennings has got to peel back inside, and it ends up being a 6 or a 7-yard gain.
Jonathan Stewart is in, replacing D'Angelo Williams on 2nd and 4. And they stop the play. Looks like a false start against Carolina.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty to the 2nd.
That's the right tackle, Jeff Schwartz. Schwartz starting at right tackle in place of Jeff Ota, who hasn't been out on the field yet. He's been out injured. If Ota gets back, Schwartz would move inside to right guard.
Correct. And they missed Jeff Ota. I mean, one thing, that the strength of this team, you go back to last year, there's Ota right there, who had a setback with his knee right before training camp. The strength of this team has clearly always been the run game.
2nd and 9. Jonathan Stewart stumbles and gets hit hard and thrown back. Chris Harris with the first hit. Vicentino Samoa with help for Chris Harris.
You're going to see Chris Harris really enlisted as a safety, and that's what he is. He's a strong safety, very, very good tackler. Was here in Carolina for 3 years, then back to Chicago where he started his career. He's got his little cowboy collar on, that little neck roll. He'll be playing a lot of in the box today with Carolina, liking to run the football with a fullback on the field. We've already seen that. You'll see a lot of Chris Harris up in the combat zone trying to make tackles in the run game.
There's 3rd and 8, and they Jonathan Stewart gets down to the 11-yard line. Carolina staying with the ground game. A great 1-2 punch of D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. This is a 24-yard run.
Very good block by Bernardo. Watch, they're going to catch Melton in a slant. Bernardo's going to block down on him, and watch the crease. You see that? Bang. And then you get Ryan Khalil gets a real good block on the guard. They kick it down with Bernardo, and then Khalil with a block. 5 straight runs, gashing the Bears defense.
They haven't thrown the ball. They can get us in motion. Draw play to D'Angelo Williams. Urlacher wraps him up. Gain of a yard on the play. Good job by Carolina running the football.
I think you go back to their first 4 games, and sustaining drives has been a huge problem for them. One of the worst teams in the league at 3 and outs. More than 50% of their drives have ended in 3 and outs. So getting Jimmy Clausen in a nice little game rhythm, not throwing the ball, but a game rhythm to his running backs will take pressure off of him later for the play-action pass game.
Tommy Harris in a defensive tackle for the Bears on 2nd and 9. Here's Williams again. Cuts it back. Was hit by Peppers. Falls forward to the 8-yard line. There's
the number I was talking about, Sam. With the 46 possessions on offense, 24 of them have ended in 3 and outs, 3 plays or less.
And they've had 5 10-play drives, end up with no points.
And there's issues to that. Obviously, you don't get continuity, but when it's 3 and out, you don't get any adjustments on the sideline for your defense.
Henry Melton in a defensive tackle for the Bears. 8th play of this drive for Carolina, all on the ground. D'Angelo Williams wrapped up by Lance Briggs, who took him down at the 6-yard line, and that'll bring up a 4th down. So they didn't put the ball in the air at all on the drive. On a 3rd and long, they didn't put it up, they ran it. Briggs comes off limping a little bit after being involved in that play, making the tackle. John Casey comes out to attempt the field goal. It's a 24-yard try. He's 3 for 3 this season. Left footer puts it right through. Carolina has not scored a touchdown in the first quarter this season. It's only the 2nd field goal they've scored all season long in the first.
Do you have any idea?
Drive. Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator. Interesting approach to the start of the game. Good kickoff coverage thus far this season for Carolina, up until Danielle Manning gashed him for a 62-yard return.
Yeah, Reese Lloyd needs to get some air under this one. The problem on the last one, Sam, was a line drive kick. Coverage could not get down the field.
This one is much higher and deeper. Manning, 4 yards deep, brings it out with a blocker in front of him. He's got room to run, but ran into Gary Barnidge, who took him down. Actually, it was Eric Norwood who made the tackle, but a good return, 37 yards. That's the touchdown for the Bears.
Pictures Hereafter, in theaters everywhere October 22nd.
Bears start from the 32-yard line. 3 wide receivers, Johnny Knox, Earl Bennett, and Devin Aromashadu. Todd Collins checking off with Matt Forte is running back. It's Forte cutting it back. Gets some room. Forte turns it into a big one. The chase is on. Forte will win the race. Touchdown. 68 yards. The Chicago Bears had no rushing touchdowns coming into this game this season. Matt Forte has put 2 on the board. A career long in regular season for Matt Forte.
Here's the key here, Godfrey. Todd Collins changes the play over here. Godfrey hits it there, and it's a cutback right to where he's supposed to be. Really a good job by Todd Collins. Say, okay, you're going to put Godfrey down in the box. We'll run it the opposite way. And then they ended up cutting right back to where Godfrey should have been.
Extra point is through. The Bears have had the ball twice on offense, and they put 14 points on the board. all by Matt Forte with 2 touchdown runs. This one was 68 yards. Matt Forte had the great rookie season, rushed for over 1,200 yards. Last year with injuries, he was down. Slow start this year because they weren't giving him the ball that much. They were throwing the ball.
Yeah, and you can obviously tell by looking at him here early in this game versus what he was last year. He was never healthy last year. I know his hamstring, his knee, he was having other issues all year long that were being kept quiet.
He's got 101 yards already on 4 carries. On the return, the rookie Mike Goodson. With great speed, he gets outside, spun around, and goes out of bounds as he crossed the 30-yard line. Julius Peppers back on defense against his former team as the Bears have the early lead. Last week against the Giants, the Bears netted 110 yards total offense. They got almost that already to start the game, 106.
Yeah, look at that play selection last week. 20 runs, or 20 passes to only 7 runs. They got no points out of it.
Panthers mishandling the snap, but Jimmy Clausen fell on top. Loss of a yard on the play.
So think about that. 20 passes, 7 runs in the first half last week. Sacked 9 times against the Giants. And it wasn't like the Giants had all their bigs in there. I mean, they had some sub-package guys in there, which means the nickel units, more DBs, and still were unable to run it. And weren't committed to it. Clearly committed to it today. You see the contrast in the numbers, and they got 14 points to show for it.
Jonathan Stewart in at running back, carries behind the block of Tony Fiametta, but no gain. It was shut down by Israel Adonijay. Let's get an update on what the Packers are doing. Let's go to Kurt Menefee.
Good before the bat for Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers hooking up with Donald Lee on a 5-yard touchdown for a 7-0 lead against the Redskins. But Lee has left the game with a shoulder injury. He was playing because Jermichael Finley had to leave the game with a knee injury. Sam and Tim?
I hate that.
Well, those injuries for Green Bay, and they have piled up over the last couple of weeks. They are a mash unit.
3 wide receivers in. Amani Edwards, former quarterback at Appalachian State, is in the pass block, and it falls. Did Peppers catch it? The Bears are saying they got it, and the officials say they got it. Julius Peppers with the block and the interception. What a play.
Yeah, an incredible play. He had 6 interceptions here as a Carolina Panther. Watch what he does here. They try to chop him out here on the right side. Jeff Schwartz, is going to try to chop him. Pep's going to get right back up and get his hand up. Boom. Right there. There's that low throw. Launch point by Clausen, and then Pep just concentrating, staying with it. Left arm up. Bang. Now I'm going to look at the football down to my knees and come up with the catch, the interception.
Bears at the Panthers 27. Chester Taylor in, but they go end around to Devin Hester. Picks up a block and is pushed out of bounds at the 17-yard line. What a play by a tremendous athlete. We know he's a great football player and a top defensive end. He's a great athlete.
I think he's the best athlete ever to play defensive end in pro football, and there's been some great ones, no question. This guy's 300 pounds now. He came in at 283. He's 300 pounds, and look at the agility.
Oh, man.
The ability to stay with it.
Bears with the ball to Panthers 17. Chester Taylor. It's inside the 15. Good tackle by the safety, Charles Godfrey. The other factor on that play, Tim, is Jimmy Clausen throws a low ball.
Well, he does. He's got a low ball, and he's got the release comes right off his shoulder. And not only that, it's a big, deliberate windup. So it takes him a while to start his windup and get to the launch of the football. He had 3 blocked and batted down last week against the New Orleans Saints. The more he understands the offense like Drew Brees and understands where to move around in the pocket and swim to the open lanes, that number will be reduced. 2nd and 7 for the Bears. Taylor, the running back. Fake the delay, and Collins passes blocked. Outstanding play by Charles Johnson, the defensive end. Johnson, good penetration. He's mad Todd Collins held him when he was trying to get to the pick. He's the best pass rusher here since Pep has left. Charles Johnson is the guy that's got to step up and be the guy to generate the pass rush. Unblocked right there. Good read, not buying the power look with the backside guard pulling it. accelerated to the quarterback.
5 defensive backs in for Carolina. On 3rd and 7. Collins completes to Earl Bennett. Short gain down to the 10-yard line. And the field goal kicking unit comes on for the Bears. Jordan Pugh, the rookie safety, wrapped up Earl Bennett. Not many passes thrown in this game. Todd Collins 2 for 3. Jimmy Clausen 0 for 1. Bears will attempt a 28-yard field goal. Robbie Gould will attempt it out of the hold of Brad Maynard. Patrick Manley, the long snapper. 7 for 8 this season. And every time they've touched the ball, the Bears have put points on the board. 2 touchdowns and a field goal, and the Bears have a 17-3 lead here in the first quarter. Well, you know, the baseball playoffs are ongoing. Divisional series in the National League. Both of them still alive, and next Saturday there'll be only 2 remaining, and we'll have the National League Championship Series beginning right here Saturday, 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific, here on Fox. We'll take you through the NLCS on to the World Series, also on Fox. Phillies leading the Reds 2 games to none. The Braves and the Giants tied a game apiece. 16 years in the NFL for Todd Collins. He was called in during the summer, late in training camp by the Bears, when an injury set in to Caleb Haney, who was the backup to Jay Cutler.
Yeah, he didn't get there till August 23rd, and a lot of people would think, well, the systems are going to match up from his days in Kansas City under Vermeil and Marcy together in St. Louis and all that stuff. It's the same in terms of the numbering system and the route tree, the number and you number the routes, but in terms of the concepts, it's completely different. So there's certainly been a learning curve, and you get in late with all the installation already done. It's been a challenge.
Robbie Gould's kick into the end zone. Goodson is 5 yards deep. Takes the knee for a touchback. Strong kickoff by Robbie Gould.
Let's talk about Jimmy Clausen and some of his errors and how he's got to get better at some of the details. I think when you talk about a run game like they have it here in Carolina, the detail of being secure with the handoffs. You got to be better at selling the play action stuff, the fakes, all these little details. And we've already seen a problem today with the low throws in terms of finding the open lanes to throw it. Then you certainly cannot stare down your receivers. That was an interception against Cincinnati. His eyes were locked on Steve Smith the whole way. And that'll all get better with Jimmy Clausen with Sunday reps and game experience.
Movement on the line.
Ball start. Offense number 47. 5-yard penalty is still first.
Jeff King, the tight end. And the false start penalty sets them back 5 yards. Panthers just haven't been scoring much. They got 14 points last week against the Saints. That was their high for the season. Yards per game, 30th in the league. The giveaways, 13, most of the league. 2 tight ends in. And D'Angelo Williams gets across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Brian Urlacher makes the tackle.
And Brian Urlacher in year 11 is playing great. You turn on the tape and you watch this guy. Here he is here. He's going to hit Jordan Gross right in the mouth right here and then make the tackle. Pow, right there, disengages, keeping his outside arm free. Clinic, textbook, run defending by Urlacher. And he's healed up, Sam. His first year off last year because of his wrist injury sets in 7th grade.
Clausen to put it up, pressure, Donajay takes him down. The ball comes loose. And it's recovered by the Panthers. But good pressure from the other side this time by Israel Adonijay. And John Fox concerned about his offense.
Remember we talked about the play fakes. Adonijay is going to get the ball out, but play fakes and play action. Look, that's not going to sell anybody. The linebackers are already on their horses trying to backpedal and get into coverage. And Jeff Schwartz beat by Israel Adonijay right there for a sack and a forced fumble for the big fella there, number 71.
Only the 5th sack of the season for the Bears, the 2nd for Israel Adonijay.
And they need that to improve. Julius Peppers needs help from somebody else.
Panthers have to get to the 30 for a first down. Peppers pressuring, chasing Clausen. He throws short, and it's taken out of bounds by D'Angelo Williams. Good pressure from Julius Julius Peppers broke that play apart, and Carolina will be forced to punt.
Well, and wait as they start to develop other guys. Henry Melton, I think, is a guy they like in Chicago. Israel Adonijah, we just saw the sack and the forced fumble there. Julius Peppers needs help. All the great ones do. Otherwise, you just scheme them up, put two guys on them, and you're not worried about other guys beating your one-on-one matchup.
Jason Baker to punt it. Bears should get great field position. Line drive kick toward the sideline. Hester takes it inbounds. Brings it back down the sideline. He is going. He's trying to get by Baker, and Baker got enough of him to push him out of bounds. Otherwise, it would have been another touchdown for Devin Hester, who has had 12 in his career. He knows he was close.
I'll tell you, Jason Baker did his job. You want a directional kick. You want to get it over to the sideline. Almost had it right on the sideline. Watch this.
This is a great play.
It's a great play. Stays in bounds. One little fake inside, and now he's just sprinting down the sideline. And Baker, after the very good punt over to the side, is the one that gets him out of bounds.
50-yard return. Bears have the ball first and goal at the Carolina 9-yard line. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Brandon Manamalayuna lines up as the fullback. Taylor cuts it back. He's heading for the end zone. He's in. Well, no sign. I thought he was in. Taylor thinks he's in. The officials are looking at one another. Yes, touchdown Bears. Their third rushing touchdown of the game. That's a point of emphasis there, Tim.
Yeah, and they get some good blocks up front. This is what we were talking about. Edwin Williams right there. Now watch Cruz gets to the center and the nose guard, and then able up to the backer. And that creates a huge crease inside for Chester Taylor. Point of emphasis, get people moved at the point of attack. It's executed perfectly today for the Bears up front.
Well, the great return game. Danielle Manning with a great kickoff return, 62 yards. Devin Hester, 50-yard punt return. And the Bears are capitalizing on the youthful mistakes of the Carolina Panthers.
You know, it's funny. In this league, when you get embarrassed, and make no bones about it, they were embarrassed on Sunday night against the Giants. That doesn't typically happen 2 weeks in a row. NFL players don't dwell on it. They forget about it. They wash it out. Tuesday, they get back. Get their heads right.
Apparently a challenge by John Fox. And the play is being reviewed.
Looked like it was over there. The ball was definitely over. It's just whether his left hip or knee or anything else hit down before the ball crossed the plane of the goal line. Should see it better here.
The ruling on the field is the runner down on the 1-yard line is being challenged by Chicago.
Left knee was down there. Hard to tell from that angle whether the ball was across the plane when the knee touched the ground. I don't think we're going to be able to see it here either.
Well, it's under review on a Bears challenge.
Maybe you once.
Originally, the call from the officials down at the goal line was touchdown. Two officials signaled touchdown. Then they huddled up and changed their minds, placed it at the 1-yard line. That's when Lovie Smith challenged.
Well, hard to tell, and it looks, I mean, that left knee is down. The ball from that angle does not look like it's crossed the plane of the goal line. And that really is the definitive look. It's hard. There's just, for this look right here, you can't tell because of the angle. Now, the knee's down, but is the ball across that plane of the goal line? Hard to tell from that angle. I think that last shot showed it perfectly.
And can't see
and
from
that one's
that
hard
angle
to tell, too.
With Earl Bennett in front. Chris Gamble there as well.
I don't know how they can overturn it based on what it was called on the field, based on the visual evidence we just saw.
What surprised me is two officials raised their arms signaling touchdown, then they changed and set it down at the 1-yard line.
After review, the runner's knee was down and the ball was short of the goal line. Second down.
Okay.
Chicago will be charged with their first team timeout.
So the ball is inside the 1-yard line. Second and goal for the Bears. We are still in the first quarter, and the Bears time they've touched the football.
And they have owned the matchup at the line of scrimmage in the run game. This Carolina defense pretty good on the year at shutting down opposing rush offenses. They got gashed pretty good at New Orleans last week, but having said that, still only 3.3 a carry. The threshold is 4. You'd like to keep runners under 4 yards. 3.3 on the season. Getting hammered pretty good today by the Bears, though, obviously.
Bears have 2 tight ends in. Kevin Schaefer, a tackle, is eligible on the right side. Taylor carries to the goal line. Short.
That ball came out.
Carolina saying that they recovered. The officials have not pointed. They've signaled third down. As the discussion goes on at the 1-yard line.
Oh, yeah. Nick Hayden, it looked like, was in on the tackle. Him and James Anderson, the Carolina Panthers, came up with it.
Still, the officials, the discussion continues. Carolina.
Charles Johnson down here, 95. Foxy's ready to throw that red flag.
They've got the defense coming back on the field. All kinds of confusion. Now John Fox is going to challenge. So lots of confusion with a play around the goal line. First, when the Bears thought they had a touchdown.
And a mass of bodies. Going to be hard to tell if this ball is coming out, but Nick Hayden is going to fire across and hit Chester Taylor.
The ruling on the field is down by contact, is being challenged by Carolina.
Yeah, see, you can't. Oh boy, you can't tell if that ball was popped out or not with all the bodies.
And as always, when you talk about something like this, it's got to be definitive visual evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Yeah, I can't see that the ball's... no, it looked like he was already down. Right there, you just saw he's laying on the ground, and then it got ripped out. It looked like he was already laying on the ground under the big pile, and then someone's going to rip it out right here. See, he's got the ball. He's got the ball. Now he gets it taken from him. Yeah, that's no.
Yeah, I don't think there's
going to be Bears
anything
football
that can turn it the other way.
And you know, that's a problem with, if you're John Fox, and I know he trusts his guys and trusts this young defense, but the defense are the ones that convince John Fox to throw that red flag.
But you know what, Tim? At 17-3 behind, he might as well. You know, with the Bears threatening to score again and break this game wide open. So the Bears have come on and come out strong.
No, they're getting their heads right, and I think part of that offensive line change with Edwin Williams, who had a very nice block on the big Forte run, and with Jamarcus Webb at right tackle, is they know there's going to be some growing pains, but they know there's upside. And if you're a Bears fan, and all the Bears fans back in Chicago know it, the cold weather's coming. You better be ready to pound the rock at the line of scrimmage, and I think what they're hoping is they can then play good enough to win games with these two rookies in there, but by the time you get November, they're playing their best ball.
Here's Mike Carey.
After review, the runner is down before the ball was stripped out of his hands. The ruling on the field is confirmed. Third down. Carolina will be charged their first team timeout.
The ball is at the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal for the Bears. So each team using up a timeout with a challenge that is not successful. Earl Bennett in as a 3rd wide receiver.
Greg Olsen down here in the red zone. 82 left, tight end, left side of the offensive line.
Bennett motions. Collins wants to put it up. He has time. The pass is intercepted by Ed Johnson, the defensive tackle. How about that? Bad pass by Todd Collins. And the big tackle was right there.
Oh, and Mike Barnes is hot, because Todd Collins had his eyes to the right side the whole way. Ed Johnson just reads the eyes. Here's Ed. He's not going to get great rush, so he's just going to mirror the quarterback. He's going to get down the line of scrimmage, and it hits him right in the neck as Todd Collins was trying to throw it to Devin Hester. You look at Todd Collins, never took his eyes off the inside receiver in Devin Hester, and old Ed Johnson, the D tackle. Love watching those guys get interceptions.
First career interception for Ed Johnson. Panthers get some life. Julius Pepper's helmet came flying off, but a couple of yard gain by Jonathan Stewart on the carry. There's Big Ed Johnson.
Started some games now last year for the Indianapolis Colts. You know what, though? I think one thing in today's game with all the fast pass and defensive linemen have gotten smarter than ever before. When they realize they're not going to get to an edge and a crease and get to the quarterback, they simply just kind of mirror the quarterback, get in front of him. He takes his left hand off the ball to throw. They get their hands up and get a bat down, or a great play like that interception.
2nd and 8. Off the play fake. Clausen puts it up for Jeff King, and he dropped it. Flag on the play.
Yeah, they're going to get Tillman on this. He's hand fighting the whole way, and he never looks and locates the ball.
Charles Tillman for pass interference. So that gets the Panthers out.
Pass interference. Defense number 33. In spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
Gets the Panthers out from the shadow of their end zone.
It's just a corner route, so he gets by him, and then right here you're going to see Charles Tillman. He's fighting, he's trying to keep the hands off of him. They're hand fighting. Now, if Tillman turns and locates the ball and you're getting some incidental contact like that, not a problem. But if you're not locating the ball, that's pass interference every time.
Panthers out at the 28-yard line. 20-yard penalty. Clausen short drop. Completes it. The ball popped loose, though it's incomplete. Dropped. Good coverage by Charles Tillman on Brandon LaFell. Let's get an update on the Tampa Bay Bucks. Here's Kurt.
Here's something you haven't seen before because it's never happened before. The first career interception for Cody Grimm, 7th-round draft pick out of Virginia Tech for the Bucks. Ties the game with Cincinnati. He scores from 11 yards out. It's even at 7. Sam and Tim, I'm sure you know, that's Russ Grimm's son.
Wow. That's great to see. Thanks, Kurt. Tampa Bay coming off the bye week at 2-1. Good start to their season. Clausen in trouble, a sack. Lance Briggs got him. Second sack of the game for the Chicago Bears. First of the season for Lance Briggs.
And a sack here without Julius Peppers. Pep is not in the game for Chicago. Lance Briggs here is so good at reading protection and attacking it late. You see him jump left, waits for the center to turn to the right, and then takes himself a free running lane to the quarterback for the QB sack. That's the experience. You can't. He's getting a little air in his helmet. Yeah. Can't replace that experience that Briggs has for sure.
3rd and 16. Clausen rolling and throwing. Good catch. Outstanding catch by the rookie David Geddes. The rookie out of Baylor. Carolina Panthers are without Stephen Smith, their best wide receiver, one of the top wide receivers in the league. He suffered a high ankle sprain in the game against New Orleans. He's likely out for a couple of weeks. And there's even talk that other teams are calling about him.
They should. I mean, by the time in my opinion, by the time this team is ready to roll, Steve will be past his prime.
Baker punts it away. Hester toward the sideline. This time it goes out of bounds. Baker did not make the same mistake, allowing Hester to field it inbounds. The Bears get the ball back with a 17-3 lead on the Panthers. As we get set to start the second quarter, how about this for a surprise? Bears have 131 yards total offense, 122 on the ground. That's a change.
Well, they've only stopped themselves. I mean, they touchdown, field goal. And then they obviously had the turnover down inside the 9-yard line there.
Bears start from the 19, their 5th possession of the game. Todd Collins, the quarterback. Matt Forte back in at running back. Forte over 100 yards following Roberto Garza. It's a yard on the play.
When you say the Bears are running the ball, they're running at will with some big pops. Here's the first touchdown. They'll flip 90, and look at Beeson. Bad angle. He's the contained force guy, and he just gets outflanked by Matt Forte, and then some very, very good blocks by the offensive line. Tyler Brayton gets washed down the line of scrimmage by Brandon Manu Maliuna. Godfrey gets sucked inside the safety, and Forte takes it the distance.
Collins back to throw, gets time. Short to Forte out of the backfield. Matt Forte receptions, one of 4 players in the NFL to lead his team in both categories. Always a good receiver. Using the pass from Collins.
Yeah, and it's pretty wild after they lost that game Sunday night. You would have thought the Bears were an 0-4 football team. With just everybody. It was, it's over, and with all the sacks. And I tell you, they beat a very good Dallas team. We know that in week 2. And what they did to Green Bay on Monday night. You got to be proud of these guys.
This is 3rd and less than a yard. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Follows Bonamaliuna. Pulls his way forward, and it looks like he's got enough for the first down. Needed to get across the 29.
Well, that was all Chester Taylor, who was stacked up at the point of attack. Mike Martz told us last night, Chester Taylor's only gotten 6 touches per game. Not nearly enough in the caliber of player he is. And Mike said it last night. He goes, this guy's a violent runner. We've got to keep him involved, especially in the short yardage and goal line run game.
3 wide receivers in. You're right, but when you have a player like Matt Forte, you've got to give Forte a lot of touches in the game. Forte with a cutback. And is spun down at the 32-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the play. Charles Johnson, the defensive end.
I understand what you're saying, but number 1, you pay Chester Taylor a lot of money.
Yep.
Number 2, all the good teams have 2. I mean, there's going to be a time where there's a hamstring or there's a nick or Forte just needs a breather. And to have a guy like Chester Taylor, what a feather in your cap to know there's not a huge drop-off. And they have different skill sets.
Nick Hayden in a defensive tackle for the Panthers. Swing it out to Forte with some room. Gamble is there. He avoids 2 men, 3 men, and is finally brought down. Great moves by Matt Forte. Dan Connor, the middle linebacker, and James Anderson combined on the tackle, but a first down up at the 46-yard line.
And what he does to Gamble and to Charles Godfrey in space here. Watch this move. Watch this. Whoop! Right to the inside. Both of them catching air and miss. And I'm telling you, Forte, I remember he busted onto the scene as a rookie against Indianapolis, and I know there's a long way to go. I said, this guy's running style and his style in the open field reminds you of a young Marcus Allen.
He's special. 2 tight ends in. Olsen motions. Chester Taylor takes the delayed handoff and gets a yard on the play. Good play up front by the Panthers, who now have Greg Hardy and Everett Brown in at defensive ends.
Looky there, 44 receptions last year with the Minnesota Vikings, and that's as a change of pace guy with Adrian Peterson as the bell cow, only 5 here with the Chicago Bears. So there's room, if you got a good one, to get the guy behind him his touches. They were able to do it in Minnesota with Chester and Adrian.
2nd and 10 for the Bears. Collins gets time. Waits, throws for Olsen and overthrows him. Olsen had a little room. Todd Collins missed him. First start for Todd Collins since 2007, when he started 3 games for the Washington Redskins late in the season. Won them all. They got into the playoffs, then lost in the first round at Seattle. Veteran guy, bright guy, and I think that's one of the reasons he was brought in during training camp. There's Jay Cutler, who's out with a concussion, but is expected to be back next week. In fact, before the game today, he was out throwing passes in the warm-ups. Collins out of the shotgun, going deep, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by the rookie Jordan Pugh, making his first NFL start. The pass overthrown. Collins had a man wide open, but he overthrew it. Another turnover. First career interception for Jordan Pugh. And the Panthers come up with a big turnover. A lot of emphasis on takeaways. See their records when their teams are in the plus category. Second takeaway for the Panthers. They have yet to score any points on takeaways this season. They have 10. Clausen putting it up on first down, way downfield, and a flag on the play on Charles Tillman as he tried to cover Brandon LaFell, the rookie out of LSU.
See this? Offensive pass interference on Brandon LaFell.
Yeah?
I think so. Just from what I saw, he's fighting with Tillman the whole way. This time Tillman's looking at the ball, and at the last second, LaFell tried to gain some separation. Let's watch it. See, perfect coverage, perfect coverage. Now, Tillman's going to
Pass
turn and look at the ball.
Offense, number 11.
Tim
10-yard
Ryan,
penalty.
you are
Still first
on the
down.
money. Good call.
Yeah, the rookie wideout. When both guys are looking at the ball, I mean, you can do the hand fighting, but at the end there, it almost looked like an arm bar where he pushed the arm down of Charles Tillman to gain some separation, and the back judge clearly saw it.
And the ball is brought all the way back to the 14-yard line. Corey Wooten is on, making his NFL debut. He was inactive the first 4 games. The rookie out of Northwestern, 4th-round draft pick at defensive end. Delayed to D'Angelo Williams. Not much there. Flag on the play. Looks like a holding call.
Nice play by Corey Wooten out there.
Corey Wooten, 4th-round draft pick, but with the moves this week.
Holding. Offense, number 67 is declined. Brings up 2nd down.
Letting Mark Anderson go, who'd been here for a few years and after his outstanding rookie season was a disappointment. Corey Wooten getting a chance to see some playing time. Charles Grant is inactive. He was picked up this week as a free agent.
And I think a big part of Corey Wooten and Charles Grant is going to be the discipline game opposite Julius Peppers in terms of keep him contained. One thing that Mark Anderson didn't do a lot of.
Clausen dropped the football, and he covers it up back at the 1-yard line.
Self-destruct.
Growing pains for the Carolina Panthers.
No, they've really hurt themselves with the details. Penalties and then this type of thing. We talked about it earlier. The details of just making the handoff happen. It just slipped out of his hand. He never even got to the mesh point, and the ball had already slipped out. You'll see it right there. It's almost like right when he squeezed it to put it into the bread basket, the ball popped out of his hands.
This is 3rd and 32. Back at the 2-yard line. D'Angelo Williams breaks through the first wave and is shoved out of bounds up at the 13-yard line. Let's see what the Lions are doing against the Rams. Here's Kurt Menefee.
They're doing it quite well, Sam. This is after the Rams kicked the field goal to tie the game. Ensuing kickoff, Stephon Logan takes it 105 yards for a score, and the Lions have a 10-3 lead in the 2nd quarter. And Tim Ryan, Mike Pereira is getting nervous about his officiating title with your call there. Good job, brother.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt. Lions looking for their first win of the season. Jason Baker aiming to the sideline. That's a good kick. Devin Hester has to watch it go out of bounds. Joined us late. Hester had a 50-yard punt return. Came up just short of a touchdown earlier. Bears in control and have good field position. Takeaway.
No, brutal. And I think Foxy's defense, they're going to knock it out. Year after year, they're able to do it. You got to seize the opportunity and get some points in what we call the sudden change.
Bears from the 43. Forte wrapped up for a loss. Good penetration, led by Charles Johnson. Good job up front by the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, and he's over there on Jamarcus Webb, the rookie right tackle. He's just going to blow it up and crash down into the C gap, which is the gap in between the guard and the tackle. Actually, he was outside on Brandon Manu-Maliuna.
Wildcat formation.
C gap outside the tackle, Sam.
Hester takes the direct snap and hands it off to Forte. And Forte gets up to the 48-yard line. How about the right side of the offensive line with Webb and Williams?
Well, there's been 8 throws and no sacks on Collins, which is a good number. But I'm more impressed in their ability to move people at the point of attack. Edwin Williams, number 70 on the touchdown, had a very nice block. And that's what they're looking for. They know these guys have upside. Is Schaefer a better player right now? Maybe, some of those guys, but got to get the young guys in, get them Sunday reps, and hope they're ready to go, like really playing their best ball at the end of the season.
3 wide receivers on 3rd and 5. Pressure on Collins, and they got him. That time they swarmed in. Greg Hardy, number 76, the rookie out of Mississippi, able to get over the top and take down Todd Collins. First sack of the game for Carolina, 5th of the season.
You see Krutz pull out to the right, and then that's where Tyler Brayton comes right up inside. And then Hardy ends up cleaning it up and getting the sack. James Anderson up the middle does a good job of reading the protection. As Krutz popped out to block the edge, they just blitzed right up the gut.
First punt of the game For the Bears, Brad Maynard, high kick. Captain Runnerland goes to the sideline. The ball's out of bounds. The punt by Maynard. Panthers defense does a good job. Can their offense get anything going? Game. New games start every 15 minutes. Play now at foxsports.com/live. Is that cotton candy on his head?
I don't know. Try some.
From the 16. Jonathan Stewart gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good play up front, led by Matt Toina. Toina has played well this season for the Bears, as they have searched for strength inside. Toina's just got a strong motor and keeps working.
He's solid. He's solid, and you can trust him. And I think a couple of things. Marcus Harrison, I don't know what's happened to him, the third-round pick from a few years ago. Tommy Harris is getting his plays, but clearly, at least up to this point, Tommy is not even close to the player that he used to be.
2nd and 10. Lawson sets up the screen to Stewart. Picks up a block from Khalil, the center, and a flag comes in as Stewart got close to the first down, got to the 25, but looks like it's going against the Panthers.
Looks like something out on the perimeter by one of the wideouts, another self-inflicted
Pass interference.
wound.
Offense number 87 was blocking downfield before the pass. Half the distance to the goal. Still 2nd down.
That's the new addition. David Clowney was picked up as a free agent.
Yeah, what a shame, too, because you're going to have Ryan Khalil, who pulls out and gets a real nice block on Lance Briggs. Excuse me, it's going to be on Urlacher, or Tino Samoa right there.
Clowney was on waivers, put on waivers by the Jets, and picked up by Carolina just this week when they let Dwayne Jarrett go, former 2nd-round draft pick.
Should help them stretch out the offense with some vertical speed, but you got to clean up the mistakes.
A lot of them. Stewart, nothing there as he went straight ahead. As the Panthers try to play it safe deep in their own territory, fans reacting. They're not happy with the offense at all, nor should they be. The Panthers haven't gotten anything going. 77 yards total offense, 74 on the ground, just 3 yards passing, as Jimmy Clausen is just 2 for 4. D'Angelo Williams is back in. This is 3rd and long. Panthers have to get to the 26 for a first down. Lawson out of his end zone to D'Angelo Williams. Brought down by Lance Briggs at the 13-yard line, and the Panthers will be forced to punt. It's a rough stretch for this Carolina team. Their offense hasn't been able to get much going at all.
They're so young, Sam. They are clearly, the rebuild is here. The message was sent. The message to me was sent 2 years ago when John Fox didn't get a contract extension.
4th punt of the game for Jason Baker. Hester looking toward the sideline. Baker angles it toward the sideline, and again it's out of bounds. They don't want to give Hester a chance. They saw what could happen earlier when he returned 150 yards. Ooh, that looks good. Bears fans having a good time here, and they should. Their team's up. Idea that I think you'll like every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Log on to foxsports.com. We call it Lunch with Benefits. Great original shows. Flags fly as the play is stopped.
Call start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty is still first.
Lunch with Benefits on foxsports.com. We've got Jay Glazer on Mondays, Brian Billick with Coach Speak on Tuesdays. On Friday, what's the name of that show?
Inside Call.
Inside Call. You've been a guest on that.
Yeah, I've been on there a couple of times. Look, anytime Mike can deliver content to a guy that's really articulate, who's hoisted a Lombardi trophy, Sam, I'm all over it. Love it.
Bears from the 36. Collins quick to Hester, looking for some running room. He bellied back. That's a face mask penalty. Charles Johnson reached out with a big hand and grabbed Hester by the face mask.
Face mask. Defense number 95. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Hester's going to line all the way up outside the numbers. him here. Now he's going to end up taking it back up the field. Now he gets a little hitch, brings it back, reverses field. That was supposed to be the little bubble screen, and then he is such a threat that if you're Charles Johnson, he's circling the perimeter to the backside. By all means necessary, try to get him down, and ended up with a face mask.
Bears with the ball at their own 46-yard line. First 3 times they touched the ball offensively, they scored. Last 3 times it's been 2 interceptions and a punt. Forte on the delay gets about a yard on the play. And credit the Panthers with some of that. Their defense has come together the last 3 series.
Think about this, and it goes back to last week. They had no chance in that game without the 2 forced turnovers early in the game against Drew Brees when they were threatening to get some points. So I think when you look at this defense, the youth on the defense, they're playing about as good as they can play. Beeson's made a position change over a weak side linebacker now because of the injury to Thomas Davis. Hard to cut the field in half for Beeson. I love him much more in the middle where he's a sideline-to-sideline guy.
2nd and 9, the play fake by Collins. Connor's got a piece of him, the ball batted up, intercepted. 3rd takeaway of the game by the Carolina Panthers. As Everett Brown came down with a football, again a batted pass. We've seen a couple of those in this game on both sides.
Here's Danny Connor right here. It's the Mars blitz, where you send the Sam first, and you got the Mike coming second. Mike Sam. There's the M and the S for Mars. Danny Connor gets it, pops it up in the air. Turnover number 3 today as Everett Brown comes down with the interception.
I thought Nick Hayden got the block.
Did he get the block?
I thought Hayden got the block and Brown came down with the ball. But good pressure. You're right on Dan Connor's part. So the Bears have been guilty of turnovers. 3 interceptions. Wildcat formation with the rookie Armani Edwards, former quarterback of Appalachian State. The handoff is to David Geddes, and the Bears haven't diagnosed Tim Jennings with a good tackle at the 49-yard line. That's a loss. So a little trick play tried by Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator, comes up losing yards. Good field position by the Panthers after the takeaway. As we told you earlier, they have not been able to capitalize on those takeaways. They stay with a Wildcat formation.
Monty Edwards can throw it now.
This is his first NFL game. He's been inactive the first 4. They fake the handoff. Edwards looking and runs with it. He's got good speed. He was drafted as a return man, and they list him as a wide receiver. He's only 5'11", but he was a quarterback at Appalachian State for 4 years.
And his numbers are ridiculous and prolific in college football. He won the Walter Payton Award 2 times in college, and I mean that's an unbelievable feat. He's the only guy that's ever been able to do that. I think I've been most impressed, and he's been inactive and hasn't played this year, but just watching him throw in practice, the athleticism's obvious, but he throws like Mike Vick. I mean, it's not a lefty-loosey. It is a lefty laser when Armani Edwards releases it.
Jimmy Clausen back in with D'Angelo Williams on 3rd and 10. Clausen rolls and throws, and it's caught, but out of bounds. The rookie, Brandon LaFell, was out of bounds when he caught it.
I like the fact they're moving Jimmy Clausen a little bit in the pocket. Now they're able to chip up and keep Julius Peppers off the quarterback. Here's the throw. Clausen on the run. Good throw. Left foot down. Is the right foot down before he... Here's the chip right there. Good chip by D'Angelo Williams. Now let's watch the ball on the... Well, hard to see there. Never has possession. Yeah, but he didn't have possession. When the back foot was not down by the time he did have possession of the football.
Jason Baker on. If he punts it, it'll be his 5th. And a whistle for a timeout here.
John Fox given an opportunity to look at it. Have the guys upstairs take a peek at it up in the booth. And
well, you're right. Early on, when he first got his hands on it, his feet were in bounds.
Oh, there's the
challenge flag. But he didn't have possession here.
No, and it's the...
This is being challenged by Carolina.
Yeah, he never had possession with that right foot on the ground. The right foot was on the ground when the ball got there. You'll see it right here. Okay, right foot on the ground, but he doesn't have possession, right foot up, then retains possession, gets possession, left foot goes down, right foot steps out of bounds. John Fox will not win this challenge.
Buddy threw the flag to have the review. That's one of the rookie wide receivers, Brandon LaFell. He's a third-round draft pick out of LSU, put up great numbers at LSU. And they have high hopes for these young receivers. David Geddes, who was a sixth-round pick out of Baylor, has come along and done a real good job and has played more than LaFell.
You know, why would you challenge this if you're John Fox?
Well,
I mean, you're punting anyway. They didn't get the first. You challenge it. Now you're out of challenges. They lost the first challenge, so they won't get an opportunity for a third.
Would it have been a first down? No.
It's fourth and.
No, if they rule it a catch.
I don't think it was a first down. No, they had the 8-yard loss on first down. No, I don't think it would have been a first down.
Okay. Let's take a look. First down markers at the 32.
Yeah, he's out here.
Yeah.
No way, no chance.
Yeah,
why do you challenge him?
Yeah.
What do you gain? 5 yards on the stat sheet? Get a catch for your rookie?
Now easy, go nice. John's a good man,
He's
but you're right.
great
But you're
football
right.
coach is what he is.
You are right. All right, here comes Mike Carey with the decision.
After review, the receiver got control with his left foot down. His right foot was out of bounds, incomplete. The ruling on the field is confirmed.
Oh, that was
Fourth
a teaser.
down,
He
Carolina
made you think it was going the other way.
With a second team timeout.
But he explained it the right way.
Yep.
And as you did as well. And John Fox discusses things with him. Devin Hester is back at his own 10-yard line. And Jason Baker, the punt, is fifth of the game. Bears with a 17-3 lead. They had a big opportunity to make it 24-3, but they turned the ball over out at the Carolina 1-yard line. Carolina has not been able to take advantage of any takeaways. Hester waits for a fair catch, and he's got it at the 10-yard line. This Tuesday, catch an all-new episode of Fox's newest comedy hit, Raising Hope. When it comes to Family Portrait Day, it'll be anything but picture perfect. From the creator of My Name is Earl, Raising Hope, this Tuesday after Glee on Fox. Bears at the 10-yard line with a 17-3 lead. Matt Forte in at running back. So Carolina's had 3 takeaways in the game, and again, no points on the board from those takeaways. Toss to Forte, Malamaliuna. Beeson chased out of bounds by safety.
Size 6, please.
An 11? Yeah.
For their quarterbacks is last in the NFL. They cut ties with Jake Delhomme last season. Matt Moore started this season, wasn't getting it done. Jimmy Clausen has taken over. His first year in the NFL. Chester Taylor with a good run up to the 39-yard line and a Bears first down.
Chester is such an underrated, solid running back. He was in Baltimore. Baltimore let him go, went to Minnesota. He became that bell cow. He's equally effective running inside, outside, and an underrated receiver as well out of the backfield.
Rasheed Davis in at the third wide receiver spot. Lines up in the slot. Taylor carries, spins, and gets up to the 40-yard line. The clock running. Bears have ripped up some yardage on the ground. 166 yards rushing in the first half. Led by Matt Forte.
Remember I said earlier 4 yards is what you shoot for as an offense or as a defense to keep them under 4? Well, Carolina's okay at 4 too, but put that in comparison with what Mike Martz's offense is doing. It's ridiculous. 9.2 a carry.
Again, 3 wide receivers. And it's Taylor. Good job by Beeson fighting off the block to make the tackle. John Beeson in his 4th year, solid linebacker.
Watch Beast right here. Kreutz is going to be the guy that tries to block him. Beason's going to slow play it, slow play it, slow play it. Now fire his gun right to the outside shoulder of Kreutz. Take on Olin, disengage, and make a tackle. Special player, John Beeson.
Bears taking the time. You see Beeson's numbers. The leading tackler for the Panthers the last 3 seasons. Collins to put it up. Looking to set up the screen. And Taylor is hit. The ball popped loose. It's an incomplete pass. Oh, he took quite a shot from Captain Munnerlyn, the cornerback. Second-year man out of South Carolina.
They like him quite a bit. Started some games last year, has been their primary nickel guy. He was all over that screen. That's what I love when you're, especially sitting in zone now, you read that screen and sniff it out, go blow it up. Munnerlyn certainly did it that time.
Second punt of the game. Brad Maynard and the Bears, 7 seconds remaining in this first half. Maynard gets it away, good high punt. Captain Munnerlyn lets it bounce. A good roll for the Bears, out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And we have come to the end of the first half. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy have all the scores and highlights from around the league. Fox Sports Ticker keeps you updated with up-to-the-second stats. Stay tuned. Good first half for Julius Peppers and the Bears defense as they held Carolina to just 3 points. The Bears jumped all over the Panthers early. Good return game. Big return on the kickoff by Danielle Manning of 62 yards. Helped set up the touchdown. The Bears scoring 2 touchdowns and a field goal to start it. Had the big lead of 17-3. Matt Forte with a first rushing touchdown of the season for the Bears. And then he followed that up with this touchdown, the longest touchdown run of his career, 68 yards. And then Robbie Gould added a field goal. The Bears threatened to score again, but they turned the ball over at the 1-yard line of the Panthers. And for the Carolina hometown fans, it's not been a good time. As they transition to young players, their offense hasn't been able to get anything going. The Bears with 193 yards in the first half. The Panthers only 83. The Visa Halftime Report. Welcome back to Charlotte. Getting set to start the 3rd quarter. The Panthers, who deferred after winning the coin toss, will receive. Have a look at Julius Peppers and Matt Forte, both having strong games. Julius Peppers with an interception. Robbie Gould to kick it off to Mike Goodson. Goodson, 1 yard deep, brings it back. Looking for a lane. Oh, he ran into Josh Bullock's, and Bullock stayed with him. Otherwise, it could have been gone. Return by Mike Goodson. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan here in Charlotte. Chicago Bears wanted to get back to the running game. They did just that in the first half.
Oh, they were outstanding. Are you kidding me? Number one, they were committed to it. Number two, the 2 new guys they put out there, Edwin Williams at right guard, Jamarcus Webb at right tackle, have helped open up running lanes. And what can you say about Matt Forte?
Oh,
he has exploded today, Sam, and it's been all over the field. It's been to the edge, it's been to the perimeter, it's been cut back, it's been up the middle. He's really having a great game.
Williams carries. lunch. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Take a look at the numbers first half. The Bears with 188 yards total offense, 168 on the ground, and Tim just checked off what Carolina put up. Only 8 yards passing for Carolina in the first half.
No, it's brutal for them offensively. Give a lot of credit to the Bears defense, who are playing outstanding today. And really, it's the 3 turnovers by their defense, that being Carolina, that's kept this thing close. Looks like Travell Wharton, left guard, on the sideline getting looked at.
Replaced by Gary Williams. Clausen wanted to put it up, decides to run and dives as he saw Brian Urlacher and Israel Adonijah converging. Got up to the 31-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 9. Gary Williams is a second-year tackle out of Kentucky, replacing Travell Wharton at guard.
Yeah, what happened is he's out at right tackle. They moved Jeff Schwartz down to right guard, and they moved Mackenzie Bernardo over to left guard. So now you're going to have Gary Williams potentially lined up on Julius Peppers, and we got it right now.
Yeah, there's Peppers. Came right to that side to challenge the new man. It's picked up by the back, and the pass is complete to David Geddes. Short slant pattern and a first down for the Panthers. Brings cheers from the crowd. A 10-yard pickup on the play.
I'd say if there's any chemistry in the passing game, it's between those guys right there, David Geddes and Jimmy Clausen, because really all summer long they were on the second unit together.
At the 41-yard line, D'Angelo Williams, the running back. Straight ahead, gets a couple of yards up to the 43. Only 4 first downs in the game for the Carolina Panthers.
Well, and these numbers will tell you why. Look at what they've done on first down. Average yards on first down. All the coaches in the NFL, everyone talks third down. They'll all tell you how important first down is. A half a yard average on first down, and then you look at how that translates to the 3rd and longs, which cuts your playbook by 2/3 at least. There's Jeff Davidson right in the middle, the offensive coordinator.
Got Jeff Schwartz back at right tackle. There's Clausen being chased by Peppers, and he threw it away.
The range of Julius Peppers. You know, most quarterbacks, they see an end come upfield like that, and they've got the ability to run away from him, get out of the pocket, and throw it away and buy some time. Peppers will close the gap on you so fast. See, right now, Jimmy's like, all right, no problem. It's a defensive end. I'm going to, just got to unload it. 300 pounds for a long strider. Pep has got exceptional quickness and ability to burst.
Here's 3rd and 8 for the Panthers. Travell Wharton is back in the game at left guard. Jeff Schwartz has moved back to right tackle. Clausen, flag on the play. He's got a free play here. He's waiting for someone to come open, and again he throws it away. He's out of the pocket as he was on the previous play. There's no intentional grounding, but the fans are unhappy with the fact that Carolina is unable to do anything to keep the drive alive.
Looks like they threw it on LaFell over on the sideline right away.
Illegal formation, offense, 6 men on the line of scrimmage, decline, 4th down.
A lot of mistakes in this game, as we mentioned earlier. And for John Fox, this has been a tough transition.
Well, it's growing pains, clearly. And I feel bad for John. I really do. I think the message has been sent here in Carolina in terms of the budget and where this team is going, and pushing a lot of big money and out the door in terms of some guys they did not bring back and or sign.
Like Julius Peppers. Exactly. Low line drive punt. Hester gets out of the way, and the Panthers cover it down at the 15-yard line. Jordan Sen was down there. 42-yard punt. Bears on offense when we come back. Bears come to the line of scrimmage at the 16. Last 5 possessions, their offense has really struggled. 3 interceptions and 2 punts after a great start to the game. Forte trying to bounce it outside. Charles Johnson got a piece, and then he's knocked out of bounds by Richard Marshall at the 19-yard line.
He's just so shifty, and he's got a great straight arm, and he's always matriculating, if you will, up the field. He's always got his legs pumping, the good running backs do, and he's his own best blocker. They had him stuffed up there about for a 1-yard gain, and he was able to bust it out and pick up a couple of more yards.
Forte and Malauulu lining up in the backfield. Malauulu is the fullback. The toss to Forte. Trying to pick up a block. Dan Connor with a good job, helped out by John Beeson. Good job by the defense of the Carolina Panthers.
And look at Matt Forte right here. The old flip 90 misdirection. You get Beeson attacking upfield. He runs by him. Now you have a cutback. Look at the vision here by Matt Forte. Ridiculously good. Now right there again, breaking tackles, getting to the perimeter, and then he can also run it right up the middle. He can get right in the action, and then there's that straight arm I was talking about. That's on a pretty good player, John Beeson right there, who takes one right to the grill.
Bears who were 0 for 13 on third down conversions last week, 1 for 6 in the game today. 3rd and 6. Collins for Hester, and he dropped it. He was open. They had Hester in motion. He slanted in, the pass was there, but Hester dropped it.
Yeah, very good throw. Hester fit right in behind it's Marcus Hudson, but he's playing as a linebacker in their sub package. And just sat right in between the zone and the zone corner and that nickel linebacker. Good throw. Hester couldn't get it, couldn't corral it.
3 and out for the Bears. Brad Maynard's 3rd punt of the game. Captain Munderland back for the Panthers at his own 35. Good punt by Maynard. Munderland at the 37. One guy went flying by. That was Garrett Wolf, the first man down. He just went right by Munderland, but he was brought down after a 2-yard return.
It's
Tonight on Fox. Panthers from their own 39. Jonathan Stewart with a short pickup. Panthers with a field goal in the game. Last 6 possessions have ended in punts.
We did the game a couple years ago here. Remember, the Bears went in at halftime, came back out in the second half, and they had it, and they let it slip away. And it was a couple of big runs by Jonathan Stewart in the second half of that game that was able to get it done for the Carolina Panthers.
Panthers have David Clowney, wide receiver, along with David Geddes. The play fake. Clausen completes it to the tight end Dante Rosario. Rosario down at the 43-yard line. Clausen gets up slowly, a little limp.
And he didn't even get hit. That was on air. Urlacher was coming to the side of him. Nobody hit him. Watch him here. He's going to set back. He's going to get to his back foot. The ball is going to come out. Tweak something.
Was straight. Henry Melton in at defensive tackle for the Bears, number 69. On 3rd down, Clausen throwing for Rosario, leaping attempt, he's out of bounds. Did not come down inbounds. Great effort as he was covered by Pisa Tino Samoa. But a terrific effort, but he came down out of bounds.
Yeah, it was really good coverage. It was right over the head. I like the throw by Jimmy Clausen. Rosario was able to go up and get it, but it's the aggressive coverage of Pisa Tino Samoa that gets him out of bounds. Now, there is no overt force out in pro football anymore. You're either in or you're out. So, good job there by Pisa in coverage, pushing him out of bounds.
4th 3 and out for the Panthers. Flag on the play as the punt by Baker bounces down at the 5-yard line, and it's well covered by the Panthers. Check out the flag all the way back at the Carolina 24-yard line.
We'll make them kick it again if it's on Carolina. Why wouldn't you, based on where the ball was down?
Illegal formation, defense. The nose man was lined up over the center. It's a 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, let's see.
Carolina wants to decline it, clearly. They don't want to punt it again.
All right, John Fox has made that signal to Mike Carey. It is declined. And the Bears will take over inside their own 10-yard line.
It's work through the grime and the muck month. Tow and pull without getting stuck month. Sweat every day to make an honest buck month. And if you're gonna try and do this in anything other than a Chevy, well, good luck month. Great deals on the complete family of Chevy trucks, all backed for 100,000 miles. It's Truck Month. During Truck Month, use your All-Star Edition discount for a total value of $6,000 on Silverado. See your local Chevrolet dealer.
What if you could get that so good KFC taste for free? Now at KFC, buy any 10-piece meal or larger and get 4 pieces for free. Every day, every recipe. Original recipe for free. Extra crispy for free. Grilled for free. Try all 3 for free. Buy a 10-piece meal or larger with sides and buttermilk biscuits and get 4 pieces for free.
So good.
That's so S-O-G-O-O-D good.
Meet the Never Miss a Super Bowl Club. They've been to every game for the last 44 years.
When I get that Super Bowl ticket in my hand.
Totally by the Giants. Bears start from their 8-yard line with a 17-3 lead. Collins, late rush, and the pass intended for Greg Olsen is wide of him. John Beeson coming late on the blitz. Almost got there.
Yeah, that ball's just thrown late. Greg Olsen had Charles Godfrey, who's in man coverage, had him outflanked, was able to get to the flat. Todd Collins held the ball too long. And Beeson was bearing down, as you said, on that delayed blitz right up the gut.
Panthers have Everett Brown in at right defensive end. 3 wide receivers in. Devin Aroma should do the 3rd wide out, along with Devin Hester and Johnny Knox. Making Earl Bennett and Johnny Knox. Forte carries up to the 13. Let's see what the Falcons are doing in Cleveland. For that, we go to Kurt Menefee.
What they're doing, Sam, is taking the lead. Matt Ryan hooked it up with Roddy White. 45 yards on the score, and the Falcons are on top of the Browns, 13-10 in the 3rd quarter. Sam and Tim, why don't people talk about Roddy White more? This guy's good.
No doubt, Kurt. He is certainly, in my mind right now, one of the top 5 receivers in pro football.
You're right. Matt Forte now has a career-high 140 yards rushing. Here's a 3rd and 5 for the Bears. Short drop, the pass was tipped. Intended for Devin Aromashadu, but it looked like it was tipped coming out of the hand of Todd Collins.
Well, Tyler Brayton came unblocked, and he was converging and hitting Todd Collins just as he was releasing the football. You'll see Brayton. They're going to have a blitz up the middle. Beeson's coming, but Brayton's going to come right there. Yeah, and he's just hitting Todd Collins as he's releasing it.
Big hit, and once again, the Bears offense doesn't get anything going. Brad Maynard with the punt. Good high kick, Captain Munnerlyn at the 44. Looking for some room, doesn't have much as the Bears have it well covered. Panthers, good field position, start at the 47. The Bears have a 17-3 lead. See all the pink things being worn and the pink around. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the NFL. We invite you to bid on authentic game day NFL pink products at NFL.com/auction. That pass outside is caught by LaFell. And the Panthers with a 1st down at the Bears' 37-yard line. Pressure from Henry Melton, who's in at defensive end. Bears giving Julius Peppers a rest, have Corey Wooten in.
Now LaFell gets up limping.
Yeah.
Not good. I'll tell you, though, it took time for that thing to develop. You had Geddes, who was flying down the field vertically. LaFell came all the way from the opposite direction, and Jimmy Clausen bought some time with his feet and delivered a strike.
Angelo Williams trying to cut it back. Good job up front, and a little help on the outside from the cornerback Zach Bowman, who's in the game in place of Tim Jennings. Williams getting a yard down on the 36-yard line. D'Angelo Williams with 12 carries, 51 yards, had a 23-yard run in the first half.
And I will bet you anything that the phone has been ringing off the hook, hoping that Carolina would trade a guy like D'Angelo Williams. Final year of his deal, trade deadline coming up next week. Bet you it's been red hot on the phones. I think they're going to move him, though.
I wouldn't. Clausen puts it up deep, too far for David Clowney. Of the wide receivers dressed today for the Carolina Panthers, 3 rookies and Clowney, who's a third-year man. Clowney's the only man with an NFL touchdown. He has 1. The rest, none. They're all getting their initiation.
And think about how much more difficult it makes it for a rookie quarterback when you don't have a guy like Steve Smith out there. See, one thing about Steve is not only was he a great player, but he helped the quarterback because they always tilted coverage. Made it much easier for the quarterback to read the coverages when Steve Smith's on the field.
Peppers and Adonijay back in. Peppers lining up and tackle here. And on third down, Clausen rolls, looking downfield and throwing and completing it short to David Clowney inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. About a yard short of the first down. It's going to be 4th and 1.
Nice job by Clowney. You see the veteran experience there, getting both feet down. I love the fact that Jimmy Clausen's starting to move around the pocket. He's reading the rush. The Bears came with an inside stunt coming to the inside, freed up the edge, and Jimmy Clausen took advantage of it. Let's see if he steps out of bounds here on the comeback before he catches the football. Didn't look like it.
No.
Looked like he held that left foot right inside the white stripe.
Dragged that toe. Good play by Clowney. They brought the chains across to measure. Along the near sideline.
I'd like to see him do more of that with Jimmy Clausen, too, who's a real smart guy, but you make it easier by moving him to one side of the field. Let him read half the field and get it out.
You can see it's at least a yard short. Well, Clausen's getting on-the-job training. We remember when he went to Notre Dame, he started as a freshman early in his career.
Yeah, I asked him about that. I said, what's harder? He said, well, I think I'm more prepared now because I'm more mature and I know the game better. He goes, but in college, all the pre-snap stuff, guys are moving, they're showing you what they got. The NFL is about the post-snap.
Panthers will go for it on 4th and 1. They trail 17-3. LaFell is back in. Jonathan Stewart's in the backfield. 2 tight ends to the right. Now Barnidge motions. And there's movement. I thought it was on the offensive line. False start. Yeah.
Offense number 70.
Travell
5-yard penalty is still 4th.
So there you go. From a 4th and 1, you now have 4th and 6. John Fox throws up his hands. What can you do?
No, you kick a field goal now is what you do.
He's got John Casey on the field. And this will be a 51-yard try for John Casey, who's made a 52-yarder this season.
He has gotten better with age. That guy, 20 years in pro football. It's amazing.
40-year-old John Casey lets it fly, and it is no good. So the Bears will wind up with good field position after the field goal miss by Casey. And the Bears still lead 17-3. This season. And still has that strong leg. He had plenty of distance on that last field goal. Chester Taylor in the backfield off the play fake. Collins to Taylor. Taylor gets up to the 47-yard line. James Anderson brings him down. Good play on first down. Bears offense is really stalled after a good start to the game. Last 2 possessions have been 3 and out. They've had 3 interceptions and 4 punts on the last 7 possessions.
I like the fact that they are getting the ball more to Chester Taylor. That's his 10th touch today. They only average 6 touches a game, so concerted effort to get him the rock today.
Knox and Hester, the wideouts. Collins off the play fake, being rushed down he goes. Oh, hit hard. James Anderson and Nick Hayden combined on the sack. Second sack of the game for the Panthers, only their 6th of the season.
Great job by Nick Hayden. Unbelievable. He's lined up shaded on the center. He's going to cross the face of Owen Kreutz. And then that frees up James Anderson to come. They both converge on the quarterback at the same time.
Lost back to the 38-yard line. Bears have to get to the Panthers 49. 3rd and 13. Devin Aroma-Shadu in as the 3rd wide receiver, along with Knox and Bennett. And the Bears with some alignment confusion. They call a timeout.
30-second timeout.
Use their first of the second half. Todd Collins goes over to the sideline to chat things up. Don't forget, postseason baseball on Fox. We've got the National League Championship Series. The Division Series still alive. The Championship Series begins Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Here on Fox, the winner goes to the World Series, and we'll have that for you right here on Fox as well.
How about Lincecum on the hill for the Giants?
Oh, man. Did he have a game? He was terrific in game 1. They need that kind of performance.
We had a no-hitter this week, thrown this week, right, by one of the pitchers.
Doc Holliday? Oh, Holliday was great. Phillies and Reds battling in their series. 70 is Edwin Williams. 73 is Jamarcus Webb. Webb is 7th round draft pick. His first NFL start. Collins under pressure, he throws, and it's intercepted by the safety Charles Godfrey. 4th interception of the game for the Panthers, and Godfrey is out of bounds at the Bears' 43-yard line. There's a flag down.
Offense number 73 is declined. First down.
Yeah, you were just talking about Jamarcus Webb. He held Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson hits the quarterback right as he's letting it go, but he wants it up the seam. Watch the safety read the eyes of the quarterback. Charles Godfrey, you absolutely love safeties in this league that have cornerback skill. He started 25 games at corner at Iowa. He was down and covering his part of the field. Read the eyes of the quarterback. The ball was in the air way too long. Gave him the time to come over and get the interception.
4th interception thrown by Todd Collins today. That is a career high or career low. Clausen goes to the end zone for a man. It's batted away. Danielle Manning broke it up. He had a man open, but he underthrew it.
Oh, he had him open and threw it way too late. It took Jimmy far too long to decide that he was going to unload this thing. LaFell right down the seam. Okay, he's open right now. Jimmy holds on to the ball too long, ends up clearly underthrowing it, and it should have been picked by Danielle Manning. Missed opportunity by the Carolina offense.
Panthers still trying to come up with points off of takeaways. This is their 4th of the game. They haven't had any points off takeaways all season long. On 2nd and 10, Clausen setting up a screen. Jonathan Stewart is stopped by Chris Harris and Brian Urlacher. Let's check out Jacksonville at Buffalo. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Jacksonville is trading touchdowns in the second half. This one from David Garrard to Mike Sims-Walker puts the Jaguars on top, 27-20 in the 4th quarter. But Sam and Tim, the Jaguar offense right now without Maurice Jones-Drew, who left the game with an injury.
That's a big loss. Thanks, Kurt. Jacksonville is 2-2. Buffalo 0-4. Dante Rosario, the tight end, splits out. Clausen out of the shotgun on 3rd and 6. Everybody out. Flag on the play. Clausen trying to run for it. Dives forward, but he's short on the first down. At the 35, Matt Toina was there to stop him.
Might get the Bears lining up in the neutral zone.
You got it.
Still 3rd down.
So the Bears make a couple of mistakes, take a penalty here. So they'll replay 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and 1 for Carolina as Lovie Smith looks on.
It's incredible when you think about Carolina and the number of times their defense has given them the ball back offensively after a turnover, and they have been able to capitalize. We showed the numbers earlier. They are still 0-for on the season after what we call a sudden change. After a takeaway, they have been unable to capitalize. 0 points on the year.
for a first down as he gets to the 31-yard line. Good blocking up front. Wharton, Khalil, and Bernardo doing a good job ahead of the fullback, Tony Fiametta. So the Panthers, who had a sustained drive in their first possession, drove inside the Bears' 10, but kept it on the ground. Had it settled for a field goal, now with a chance to get some points. Jonathan Stewart in the backfield. Clausen, short drop. He hits LaFell. LaFell drops it as he was wrapped up by Charles Tillman.
That's a very, very good throw by Jimmy Clausen. He saw what he wanted out on the edge, and LaFell's got to catch it. And Tillman is a terrific guy in terms of knocking the ball out and getting his hands in there. He once told us it's see ball, get ball, go knock it out. But LaFell, we've seen a couple of times today with opportunities to make plays, and he's been unable to get it done.
On 2nd and 10, Jonathan Stewart ran into Lance Briggs. And Briggs doesn't move much when you run into him.
And neither does 28 at 235 pounds.
That's a good collision. Ooh. Briggs won that one as he took down Stewart at the 30. For the Bears, Caleb Haney is warming up. We might see him because Todd Collins has not had a good game. And Haney was the backup to Jay Cutler going into training camp, got injured. He is warming up. Timeout called by the Bears.
Here's Lance Briggs. He's going to get rolled up. It looks like by Jeff Schwartz, number 74. Yeah, there's Briggs in on the tackle, and you see Schwartz with that big body falling on the back of his legs. I'm telling you, it's when you're in the middle of that, sometimes it's like here comes the tidal wave and you can't stop it. You know it's coming and you still can't get out of the way.
Next weekend, it's homecoming in East Lansing. The Illinois defense looks to slow down the Spartans' ground attack. Big Ten football next weekend on the Big Ten Network. Check your local listings for the start time in your area. Illinois had a huge win over Penn State yesterday, and Michigan State beat Michigan. Enough said. That's going to be a great game. Here's 3rd and 9. Lance Briggs trying to walk it off on the sideline. And a false start against Carolina again. They shoot themselves in the foot.
False start. Offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Brandon LaFell again, and Foxy knows it. It just... And that's the youth showing up. John knows he's got so many young players, and I tell you though, whatever happens with Foxy, and nobody really knows going into next year with Carolina and what direction they're headed in, the guy will have a job in 5 minutes in pro football.
Without a question. Excellent coach. Clausen has time, buys some more, and then throws it away with Judas Peppers closing in. Nobody was open downfield. And Clausen threw it away. They're forced to punt.
Hard to win in this league. You talk about being young. Whoa. You got 13 starts between the 3 guys that are dressed today for Carolina. Look at the NFL average on game day for the quarterback group. 104 starts.
No punt. It's a field goal try from 53 yards for John Casey. Had the distance earlier but missed. And puts this one up. Does it have the distance? Yes, it's good. 53 yards, John Casey. His 39th career field goal of 50 or older. He's 40 plus. And John Casey still has the leg. His second 50 plus field goal of the season.
Tell you what's amazing about that is it's 50 plus, but it's got some lift on it. You know, you see a lot of guys, they hit that one from so long and they got to drive it. So it comes out low. You saw Donajay with that big wingspan with his arms up. Casey got a lot of lift on the ball, but was still able to get the carry. Impressive.
53-yard field goal gives the Panthers 6 points in the game, still trailing 17-6.
They are hanging around, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. They fell behind 17-3. The Bears had the ball at the 1 yard line. Thought they had a touchdown on a run by Chester Taylor. It was reviewed, and it came up a yard short. And then they threw an interception.
Then
Todd
Ed Johnson,
Collins.
the defensive tackle, had the interception down on the goal line. And then since then, the Bears, frankly, haven't been able to do anything offensively.
Reese Lloyd to kick it off. Good kick. Danielle Manning, 5 yards deep, brings it out. Manning stumbles, gets thrown to the first wave, broke a tackle, still going. What an effort by Manning to return to the 28-yard line. We take you back. These two teams met in the playoffs, the end of the 2005 season. Julius Peppers for Carolina, Jim Belushi rooting on the Bears. But the story of the game was this man who's missing today, Stephen Smith. He caught 12 passes for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. The defense shut down the Bears at the end of the game. The Panthers advanced in the playoffs, beating the Bears.
Did he tell you to call him Stephen?
You like Steve? Just Stephen is. It's respectful.
Yeah, all right.
Caleb Haney is in the game. The undrafted man out of Colorado State. It's his 3rd season. And he's always done enough to impress the coaches with his work ethic in preseason to keep him around. And they were ready to have him be the backup quarterback going into the season in training camp, but he was injured. Hurt his throwing shoulder. Todd Collins to the sideline, having thrown 4 interceptions. Play fake. Haney, flag on the play. The screen to Forte. Gets a first down, but that's going to come back. I believe we'll have a holding on the Bears.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Frank Omiel, a former Carolina Panther.
Well, and Everett Brown just shakes him down right here. Everett flashes upfield, and that's a guy they need to play now, Everett Brown, and they need him to play well. They gave up a 1st-round pick to get him, and he's the one that forces the hold right there on Omiel. There's the day for, that's worse than last week for Todd Collins. He had an 8 rating last week at the Giants, 6.3 passer rating today.
Well, the best thing he did in the game, to tell you the truth, was hand off the ball to Matt Forte. Was the biggest offensive weapon in the first half. The ball back to the 19. And looking for running room was Chester Taylor. He didn't find any. And he's taken down. Let's check out the Lions. They're driving for their first win, right, Kurt?
And they're looking good doing it. Sean Hill hooking up with Nate Burleson. Burleson scores from 26 yards out against the Rams. And the Lions in firm control, 31-6, looking for that first win in the 3rd quarter. And because I want to be respectful, I'll send it back to Samuel and Timothy.
Samuel and Timothy.
Thanks, Kurt. From the 17 on 3rd and long, Haney throws the screen to Taylor, breaks 1 tackle, and the Panthers take him down at the 22-yard line. James Anderson makes the stop. Panthers defense has been strong and has helped keep them in the game. Jay Cutler can't do anything about the offense. He's out of uniform. He'll be back next week. Bears will take a 17-6 lead into the 4th quarter. Charlotte, Brad Maynard's 5th punt of the game as we start the 4th quarter. Wobbly kick, Captain Munderland fumbles it, muffed it, was able to fall on top, trying to get up and run, and the Bears pull him down at the 46-yard line. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan here in Charlotte. Chicago Bears grab the early lead. They still have it. It's 17-6. Julius Peppers has the helmet back on, but he's on the sideline to start this series. Former great with the Carolina Panthers. Career leader in sacks, blocked kicks, forced fumbles. Toss it on 1st down to D'Angelo Williams. 2 men converge. Brian Ewu number 52, who's replaced the injured Lance Briggs. Briggs has stayed out. He's got an ankle injury, and Brian Ewu replacing him. Jennings helped out on the tackle as well.
We talked earlier about first down and the inability to really move it on first down. Look at what's happened today. Chicago 6.6 yards on first down. Carolina 1.5. Pretty amazing number again when you think of how first down really relates to the rest of the drive.
Off the play fake. Clausen in trouble. They've got him. Tino Samoa. The ball came loose. It's ruled down. It's ruled down by Mike Carey. Pisa Tino Samoa with a sack on Jimmy Clausen. And the Bears always looking for the football and always looking for something to return on defense.
Very good job by Tino Samoa. He's going to come here. He's going to go head up with the fullback, Tony Fiametta. Gets right to the edge, gets rid of him, and then gets himself the sack right there. Very, very good find. He was hurt last year, most of the year. Of course, Lovey knew him from the St. Louis days. And he's come over here to Chicago. He's given him a big shot in the arm, Sam, on defense.
Fourth sack of the game for the Bears. They had 4 coming into this game total. And more pressure and another sack. It's Israel Adonijah with his second of the game and third of the season. So the Bears, with back-to-back sacks, push the Panthers back from the 47-yard line back to the 26.
I'd love to be the guy on the other side of Julius Peppers. I would absolutely love it. Look at that number. Have not scored a TD on a drive when allowing a sack. 0 for 12. And you could say that about a lot of teams around the NFL. But Julius Peppers coming unblocked that time, forced Clausen to run to the right of Donijay, who also beat his guy sitting right there waiting for him.
Baker with the kick toward the sideline. Hester takes it inbounds. Gets by one man. And this time the Panthers swarm him and take him down at the 27-yard line. 49-yard punt. Pressure on Jimmy Clausen. Adonijah is there for the Bears' 5th sack of the game.
Is just $10, or any medium specialty pizza is just $10 too. Only at your Pizza Hut.
On your left in the baseball cap is Rod Marinelli, the defensive coordinator, but he's always coaching up the defensive linemen.
He's pretty happy today with the sack numbers, I can guarantee you that.
Matt Forte on first down with a good gain up to the 32-yard line.
Rod is wall-to-wall ball. I mean, he's one of those guys all ball all the time. He loves the game. He's been a head coach with the Detroit Lions, as we know. But you think of what Julius Peppers talking about him. He said Rod's always got something. He's always coaching it up, and just talked about some of the things that Rod always tells him. He said, number 1, you have to have get off. Number 2, you better have your move area. And number 3, you got to finish. He said Rod's helped him out quite a bit with his football intelligence this year.
Handy out of the shotgun, hands to Forte. As the Bears keep it on the ground, Forte gets 4. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
And talking football intelligence, you know, that's underrated in this league. We all talk about, you know, everybody's got physical ability. Sam, this league, 80% of it's from the neck up. And when you got football intelligence at every position, whether you're O-line, D-line, perimeter guy, it doesn't matter. You know what to anticipate based on formation and on your scouting report, and Rod has certainly helped that.
Chester Taylor in. It's his 3rd and 1 for the Bears. Taylor behind Manu Maliuna. First down. Good block by Manu Maliuna. Dan Connor made the tackle, but Chester Taylor gets a first down, and the Bears needed that offensively just to get something going. And they have struggled with their offense here in the second half. It had been 3 3-and-outs for the Bears with an interception on their first 4 possessions.
You see the orange line here, Sam? This is 5 yards. This is what every offense shoots for in pro football on first down. Defense trying to keep them short of that. Offense trying to achieve it.
Taylor gets that 5 yards and a little more.
Yeah, and now look. You got 2nd and 1 or 2nd and 2.
Pick up to the 48-yard line. Charles Godfrey on the tackle, but the Bears going back to the running game, which has been effective for them. Close to 200 yards rushing in the game. Mike Martz probably with some encouragement from the head coach, Lovie Smith, because when things go bad, Lovie goes to the run game. He feels much more comfortable with that, and things went bad for the Bears last week.
Yeah, that was clear. Lovie didn't know how many sacks there were. It looked for a deep shot here. It's really a throwaway down at 2nd and 1 here. Let's see if they take one deep and try to put a shot in the end zone.
3 wide receivers in. Hand it to Forte. He's got a first down into Panthers territory. Time to update the Falcons and the Browns. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Atlanta loves defensive end Troy Bierman, and here's why. Blocks the Jake Malone pass, intercepts it, and then gets up and runs it in for a 31-yard score. What a play. Falcons on top of Cleveland, 20-10 in the fourth quarter. 7-10.
He looked like Tim Ryan on
Troy
that play.
Bierman. Troy Bierman.
Oh, man.
Smitty, Mike Smith has got those guys really playing good football collectively as a team this year.
It's a good race developing in the NFC South. Bears with a first down at the 49. A little toss to Forte, a couple of blocks. He's hit down hard. Good tackle by Richard Marshall and Nick Hayden.
Nick Hayden's playing the best game I've ever seen him play as a Carolina Panther. It's not even close. Guy was a late draft choice, came in here last year. They've been looking to upgrade that interior on their defensive line. Really, since Chris Jenkins left, you think of the defensive tackle play here with the Carolina Panthers has been subpar. Nick Hayden, I'll tell you, he's having a dynamite game here today for the Panthers.
Bears running the ball, controlling the clock now with an 11-point lead, keeping the ball away from Carolina. Bears have rushed for 203 yards in the game. Blitz coming. It's Chester Taylor, but he ran right into Dan Connor. And the tackle made at the 45-yard line. It'll bring up a third down for the Bears.
Nick Hayden in the mix again on that one? Sure was.
Probably was. Hayden, 6'4", 292, his second year out of Wisconsin. He comes to the sideline.
Now it's time to rush the passer.
That's right.
You're out.
3rd and 6. Bears have to get to the 39 for a first down. Taylor in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. Haney gets time. Good blocking, and he finds a man, Johnny Knox. Knox stays in bounds. Good move by Johnny Knox. Stays in bounds and gets a first down. The clock keeps moving, and Haney with a nice throw to Johnny Knox.
Johnny Knox can absolutely fly. He averages over 20 yards a catch. Inside receiver's going to go this way. Look at the cushion here. He's just going to go here, and he's just going to eat it up and come right back inside. Look at that. Just a little pivot inside and back to the outside. Captain Munnerlyn worried about the deep speed, and Knox is able to exploit the coverage.
Chester Taylor with a good block, giving protection to Caleb Haney. 13-yard pickup. Johnny Knox's first catch of the game. It's Taylor for a couple of yards just inside the 30-yard line.
I asked Mike Martz last night, and we all know Mike with the greatest show on turf, and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt and Ozakeem and Kurt and all those, Marshall Falk, all those guys. And we know how hard Mike is on receivers. I said, which one of these guys is ready for what you're throwing at him? And he goes, there's no question Johnny Knox has arrived. This guy is ready. You see the number there, highest percentage in the NFL, 6 of 12 over 20 plus. And I think with Mike Martz and his system, you better have the stamina to run routes all day. Very excited they are about Johnny Knox.
Out of the shotgun, Forte back in. Off the play fake. And Haney is bowled over by Richard Marshall, blitzing from the left cornerback position. I don't think Haney was expecting that. 3rd sack of the game for Carolina.
I'll tell you what Haney was expecting was Aromashadu on the hot route on a little pivot route, but Aromashadu fell down. So he went to pull the trigger, the receiver fell down, ended up taking the sack from the slot blitzer.
First is the first 4G phone.
Bears 3rd and 15. Have to get to the 22 for a first down. Forte in the backfield, 3 wide receivers. And false start on the Bears. So the sack.
False start. Offense 73. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
The sack and the penalty throw the Bears back. And we want alert you that you can go to NFL.com's Game Center for Week 5 live game stats, fan discussions, in-game video highlights, and more. Only at NFL.com/scores.
Detroit right here.
And looks like win number 1 for the Lions.
Vast improvements for that football team.
Haney uses a timeout. That's the last timeout for the Bears here in the second half. It's a 3rd and 20 for the Bears.
It's Ram truck season.
Offensive line back together. A couple of new people in the lineup starting today, and he's still missing Chris Williams, but Chris Williams is close to coming back, maybe next week. Here's the 3rd and 20. Haney throws it up deep for Knox. It's incomplete. He was one-on-one with Captain Munnerlyn. And the Bears send out the punting unit with 6:49 to go. One thing the Bears did not want to do is make a mistake and give the ball back to the Panthers in good field position.
Think of what the Bears have done here in the second half. 188 yards in the first half, Sam. In the second half here, 47 total yards of offense for Chicago.
And it's a combination, lack of execution by the Bears, but the Panthers defense also picked up their play. There's Maynard with time. Captain Munnerlyn. Fair catch at the 14-yard line. He complains that Rasheed Davis grabbed him. The Panthers want a flag. The officials say it wasn't anything serious. All right, there's Captain Munnerlyn.
There's the wave for the fair catch. Nah, there's nothing wrong with that.
A little hug. It was a little hug.
He's loving him up a little bit.
But Munnerlyn working the officials, trying to get a flag. Panthers have the ball at their own 15-yard line, down by 11.
Think about this. In this game, passing yards. Carolina's got 28 through the air. The Bears have 29.
Mike Goodson, rookie running back with a lot of speed, is in the backfield. Clausen, quick pass behind LaFell. Don't forget, NFL on Fox next week. We've got a Fox doubleheader coming your way. Seattle will be in Chicago to play the Bears. Cowboys and Vikings. Also early, Atlanta's at Philadelphia. Late game, Dallas at Minnesota. It all begins with the all-new 4-day Drive 1 pregame show beginning at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, right here on Fox. Jimmy Clausen. And again, a bad pass. Again, lack of communication with Brandon LaFell. This time he was going down the field. Clausen was looking for the out pattern.
No, there is no chemistry between these two guys at all. It's obvious. Struggles today, 6 first downs, 53 yards in penalties, 28 passing yards, and 5 sacks.
Yep. Not much going offensively. 113 yards total offense for the Panthers. We've had only 2 field goals. Armani Edwards is in. As they bring in 3 wide receivers. Clausen. Blitz was picked up, but he throws incomplete. The accuracy just not there. Tried to get it to David Geddes. No accuracy on any of the 3 passes he threw in that series.
There's no rhythm, there's no timing, and there hasn't been all day long. Now, Clausen did make a couple of big plays last week against New Orleans late that kept him in that game. But frankly, it's just been ugly today in terms of the ability to have an impact through the air.
And all season long, Panthers have not scored any points on offense in the 4th quarter. They have 2 points on a safety. 9th punt of the game for Jason Baker. Devin Hester, chance to return from the 35. Trying to get outside. He does. Gary Barnidge, the tight end, pushed him out of bounds at midfield. Boy, every time Devin Hester gets his hands on the ball inbounds, the excitement mounts. Julius Peppers in his return to Carolina. This is where he grew up, right outside of Charlotte. Went to the University of North Carolina.
I love people that say he doesn't have a motor and he doesn't hustle, and the perception is he shuts it down. That could not be farther from the truth. know, there was a couple of rough spots where he wasn't playing great, maybe in 2007. But he lines up everywhere. You see he's done most of his damage over at left end today. He had the batted ball and the interception over there.
Matt Forte. Short pickup down to the Carolina 49-yard line.
But I think in this league, the best teams, certainly the best defenses, are the ones that have a four-man rush. And it's a huge benefit when you can pressure a quarterback by only rushing four. The fearsome foursome there are the Rams. The steel curtain of the Steelers had four guys that came after you. The purple people eaters in Minnesota. Sapp and Rice down in Tampa. Freedy and Mathis in Indianapolis. Jared Allen and Kevin Williams in Minnesota. And you got Julius Peppers and who else? Where's the second guy?
No.
And Adonijah's been the guy today, but you feel that, you hope Tommy Harris can get it figured out. I know they're excited about Henry Melton. Maybe Peppers is going to need some help.
Maybe Corey Wooten. Good run for a first down by Forte. Great game for Matt Forte. Matt Forte has had a career day. On defense, we mentioned Israel Adonijah.
He may be the running mate. There's one sack. Here's the second sack. And Israel coming into the game today with 8 career sacks. He gets 2 of them. He may be that other guy that Pep needs to take pressure off Julius Peppers. Otherwise, you just turn 2 and 3 on Pep and not worry about any of the other guys.
Matt Forte, 21 carries, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's, to me, is the biggest lift for the Bears, is to see him break out.
No
Chester
doubt.
Taylor with a good run as the Bears play ball control, wind the clock down with their 11-point lead. Chester Taylor is pitched in. Over 40 yards rushing in the game. Mike Martz, after last week, he took the blame upon himself. He felt in a short week, they had played on Monday. In a short week, he gave his guys too much. Some of the young players, it was too much for them to handle. And he said, we just try to push too much.
Well, the way they were in that game, I mean, you would have thought it was 50-0 the way they were playing it early against the Giants with all the deep passes.
Well, good play by Dan Connor, the middle linebacker, as he wrapped up Chester Taylor before he could get going. Brings up a third down for the Bears. Panthers defense, after a slow start, a couple of big returns by the Bears set up the touchdowns, but the Panthers defense pulled itself together and has done a good job in this game, and they've kept the team in the game, but the offense has been non-existent.
And they'll be a much different team, as you know, with Jay Cutler back at the helm and with his skill sets and really what he is offensively. So they'll feel good about the running game, leaving here and back to Chicago and getting their stud quarterback in Jay Cutler, who Martz did not have enough superlatives in describing him yesterday in our meetings with Mike.
They've worked well together outside of last week, but the first 3 games, very good. Cutler's quarterback rating is over 100, 3rd best in the league. And his interceptions have been down. He's played very well under Mike Martz, and they seem to have a good rapport together.
Yeah, and he's accurate. He's smarter than people think. His completion percentage also is, like I said, accurate, up at 67%.
2 tight ends in, 3 tight ends in. Dylan Davis is in it to the 3rd. Forte looking for running room. But the Panthers are all over it, led by Charles Johnson with help from the middle linebacker Dan Connor. There's Charles Johnson. He's been busy today. The Panthers use a timeout, and both teams are out of timeouts in the game. Next weekend on FSN, it's a college football Saturday triple header. We've got number 22 Missouri taking on Texas A&M. We've got a Pac-10 showdown. Cal meeting USC, and Iowa State goes up against number 7 Oklahoma. College football Saturday next weekend on FSN.
I'll tell you, John Fox has got to be thrilled with how his defense has played today. And I know they gave up a couple of big pops early, but they've gotten that shored up. They've gotten the turnovers with the 4 interceptions. Not happy, I'm sure, about his special teams. Offensively, so much youth. John will just keep grinding it out.
Career-long try for Robbie Gould, a 53-yard field goal attempt. On the way, it's got the distance, and it is good. John Casey.
Plenty of leg there. That one could have gone 57-58.
Easily. Third career 50 yards or more for Robbie Gould. Oh, man, he got it up.
It's another unbelievable when you think of how long these field goal attempts are and how they're able to get them up and get air underneath them.
You know what? The conditions are near perfect. There's no wind, and it's just been a great day here. And Gould with a strong leg ups the lead back to 14 for the Bears with 3:36 to go. It's a 20-6 Chicago lead. Bears will be home next week to take on the 2-1 Seattle Seahawks, who have a bye this week.
And you know, that'll be a good test with Seattle, because one area where Seattle's darn good is in their run defense. Be interesting to see if they have a commitment to it next week against a group that's effective in that area.
Gould's kickoff into the end zone, and they take a knee. Mike Goodson was thinking about running it out, but under advice from Robert McBain, took the knee. Jimmy Clausen stays on the sideline. Matt Moore comes into the game. So a quarterback change at the end of the game here for John Fox. Matt Moore took over last season when Jake Delhomme was injured, did a good job as the Panthers played well down the final stretch of the season. Starting this season, Matt Moore came to training camp. He was the #1, but got off to a bad start. Offense didn't get anything going, and Jimmy Clausen took over. But here's Matt Moore in the game. Under pressure. Lets it fly, and the ball's caught out of bounds. Incomplete. Caught by Armani Edwards.
Gotta love that bailout throw by Matt Moore, though, off his back foot. Guy's hanging around him. He lets it go on the deep corner route. Edwards couldn't get it, but you know, interesting switch here late in this football game. Back to Matt Moore. And I know it wasn't good for Jimmy Clausen today, but it sounded like, just in talking to those guys on Friday in our meetings, that Jimmy was going to be the guy headed forward.
Jimmy Clausen didn't show much today at all. 9 for 16, 61 yards, 1 interception. The accuracy was off. Goodson in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Short drop pass off the leg and intercepted. Intercepted by Brian Urlacher. Was off the leg of Armani Edwards. And an alert play by Brian Urlacher gives the Bears their 2nd interception of the game.
Well, outstanding read from the neck up by Matt Moore. Bad throw on the execution. The slant's right here with Armani Edwards. What's the location of the football, Sam? Right at the right thigh pad. Now, he still should have caught it. It was down right above the right thigh pad. Had his hands down there, but the way it hit and caromed up in the air, Urlacher was right there waiting for it.
So the Bears defense, which has done a good job in the game, comes up with a takeaway at the Carolina 23-yard line. Urlacher's 18th career interception. Chester Taylor ran into a bunch of Panthers. He's taken down, led by Ed Johnson, who has an interception in the game. Neither team has any timeouts remaining. Urlacher continues his good play. Lance Briggs went to the locker room, I think maybe to get x-rayed. His shoe was off as he walked in to the locker room. He suffered a sprained ankle earlier. Have a look at Matt Moore along the sideline.
Wait, 30!
There's Taylor, and right on him was Derek Landry. There's a flag on the play.
Illegal formation. Offense only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. His decline. 3rd down.
Indianapolis Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Only touchdown of the game scored late in the fourth quarter, and it was a big one. Mike Hart turning a 12-9 lead into a 19-9 Colts win. They hand the Chiefs their first defeat of the season. Sam and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. Chiefs come out of the bye week. No touchdowns. Indianapolis with a big win. Colts are 3-2. Chiefs are 3-1. Kellen Davis motions on third down. Caleb Haney with a toss to Chester Taylor. And he's wrapped up again. Derek Landry with the tackle. He'll bring up a fourth down.
Impressed how Derek Landry's played today. We had the play right before this one on the illegal formation. He had a nice tackle as well. Guy who started in Jacksonville, ended up here in Carolina, now a starter on the inside. He's played well. Really since those first big pops in the first quarter. The whole defense has really played well. Nick Hayden has played well.
Coming down to the 2-minute warning with the Bears leading 20-6.
The most NFL at your fingertips. NFL.com.
Great respect, great admiration for one another. John Fox and Julius Peppers.
Now, these guys are tight. Despite what you've ever read or heard, these guys have a lot of love, a lot of respect for each other. Peppers and Foxy.
Robbie Gould will attempt a 43-yard field goal. Brad Maynard, the holder. Gould on the way, and it's inside the upright, and it's good. Strong leg for Robbie Gould. And the Bears, whose offense had stalled after a real good start, have gotten a couple of field goals late from Robbie Gould to make it 23-6 and put this game out of reach. Don't forget, we've got the post-game brought to you by AT&T back in the studio. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will break it down for you. Scores, highlights, analysis, and the Fox Sports ticker. Check out your fantasy team and how your players are doing. Good return for Julius Peppers. He's happy. Israel Adonijah helped him out with a good game, but the teammates acknowledge they know that this was an important game for Julius Peppers, coming back to his home territory.
Yeah, and I think they knew it was an important game for themselves based on what happened Sunday night in New York against the Giants. And you got to love the way they've responded, no doubt. Defensively, they were outstanding today, getting after the quarterback, getting the sacks. Their run game was marvelous, best of the year. Passing game, though, still need a lot of work.
Yeah. But they'll have Jay Cutler back next week. Jonathan Stewart didn't get much going for the Bears. They will go to 4-1 as Gould kicks it off. Goodson near the sideline, and it bounces out of bounds, and the Panthers get the ball to the 40. Bears will go to
out of bounds. The ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. First down.
They'll be 4-1. The year they went to the Super Bowl, they started the season 7-1. So whether it's been pretty or not, the record is still there.
Yeah, they're not going to apologize for being 3-1, and I think Levy does it the right way, as most coaches do. He looks at the season in blocks. They got through the first 4 games at 3-1. They're going to be 1-0 headed into the second quarter of the season.
Green Bay is tied in Washington 13-13. So the co-division leader is struggling
and loaded with injuries. That's the thing with the Packers right now that you got to worry about if you're a Packer fan.
And Minnesota 1-2 plays at the Jets tomorrow night. Pass complete to the tight end Jeff King. He's brought down at the Bears' 45-yard line. Nick Roach in at linebacker, made the tackle. Matt Moore is the quarterback for the Panthers. Both teams are out of timeouts. That last game was 14 yards. Panthers have a bye week next week. The Bears will be home against Seattle. Moore throws short to Jeff King, and he's brought down. Short gain on the play.
Tell you, that's one thing when you look at this defense. Always terrific tacklers. Daniel Manning right there. They're going to send the pressure, force you to get it out underneath, and then they just rally up and are such sure tacklers.
Everybody out. Moore throws. Nobody there. Both rookie receivers, LaFell and Geddes, cut inside.
Yeah,
they went the same route.
There's been mental errors from these young wideouts, these rookie wideouts all day today. And Brandon LaFell has had a few. He's had some drops as well. He was their high pick now coming out of LSU, and even Jimmy Clausen told us the other day, he said, we got to get LaFell involved early. We got to get his confidence up. Clearly, that's something he's lacking here early in the season.
Corey Wooten is in at defensive end on the right side. This is his NFL debut. After being inactive the first 4 games, short pass is complete to David Clowney. Clowney down to the 40-yard line. Panthers can't stop the clock. 1 minute remaining in the game. Moore works out of the shotgun. Jeff King is wrapped up by the safety Chris Harris. The former teammates when Harris was here for 3 years. So the Bears bounce back after a horrible game last week in New York. And will win this one. That pass juggled by Geddes. He holds on. He's brought down by DJ Moore. Clock running. Clock it. And it's spiked by Matt Moore. 14 seconds to go. Our producer is Mike Burks. Our director is Greg Scopatoni. The associate director is Tom Yohe. Broadcast associate Matt Saldana. The studio show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The associate director is Stephanie Medina. The highlights coordinator Janice Casaza. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. Spotter in the booth is Gary Lynn. And our statistician in the booth is Emmett McGuire. Post-game brought to you by AT&T. Coming up next, stay tuned. Mike Goodson, the running back, splits out. Empty backfield. They'll send 5 receivers down the field. Moore throws, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Charles Tillman. Goes to the ground, and the Bears get one more pick to wind it up. 3rd interception of the game for the Bears. 1 by Julius Peppers, 1 by Brian Urlacher, 1 for Charles Tillman. A lot of good things for the Bears. Return game was excellent. The running game was excellent.
And they got through with those 2 rookie offensive linemen over on the right side, Edwin Williams and Jamarcus Webb. And that will prove to pay dividends, I think, down the road.
Congratulations all around for the Chicago Bears, who are now 4-1. The Carolina Panthers, for the 2nd time in their history, go to 0-5. 23-6. Lovie Smith's team comes up with a win. Good return for Julius Peppers. We'll be back here in Charlotte in just a moment.
Back. Makes a ton of sense. Monday at 3 and 4 on Fox Chicago.
Congratulations for Julius Peppers and his teammates as he says hello to his friends. Bears win it 23-6. Now it's time for the Domino's Stat Tracker. Matt Forte, a career high 166 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, a career long 68-yarder. Jimmy Clausen had a bad game for the Carolina Panthers. The Bears win it 23-6. They're 4-1. Carolina is 0-5. The AT&T postgame show is coming up next. Stay tuned.
Sitting, waiting, hoping. That's not how successful investing is done. At E-Trade, it's harnessing some of the most powerful yet...
You like to see the running game. And as Jim was talking about, you're talking about players being challenged. It's nothing better than when you challenge an offensive line, because those 5 guys will come together like nobody else's business and really elevate their play. And you saw that. Yes, they had some lulls today, but the bottom line, they knew that they had to go out and run the football today, and the big guys up front got it done.
And I'll tell you something else, and I know Lovie said this is not, he doesn't send messages through the media. He doesn't send messages. He just tries to look for the best players to play. Believe me, a lot of this goes back to that Mark Anderson situation where they released this guy in his, I think it was 4th or 5th year, and he was highly productive when he first got here, but he wasn't getting the job done. And you know how it is on teams when guys see something like that happen, they go, "Whoa, wait a minute," because everybody thinks that you get into the season, everything is settled and you're all squared away. No, not anymore.
Well, it's like putting your kid in timeout. Sometimes you got to follow through with the belt. Right. Lovie Smith's following through with the belt, so you got to give him a lot of credit, holding players accountable, and that sent a pretty serious message to the guys in the locker room, releasing Mark Anderson.
Yeah, we talked to Lance Briggs Thursday at Countdown to Kickoff. He was shocked that Mark Anderson was let go, so the message was definitely received. We invite you to get interactive with the show. Go to csnchicago.com, click on the Bears postgame live icon to submit a question or comment, and they are already rolling in. Some of them you'll see at the bottom of the screen. We've gotten some questions in, and people were not too happy with the effort of the veteran Todd Collins today. The first one that came in was, let's get rid of Collins right away. That's pretty harsh, Jim, wouldn't you say?
Well, I mean, I thought he'd perform a lot better, too. He's been in that situation before, and it's still the right call by the coaching staff to start Todd Collins. He's been there, done that in this situation, but how he responded, I saw a quarterback who's somewhat panicked in the pocket, late on his reads, and like anything else, with all the issues with the Bears' offensive line, you got to know where your checkdowns are, and here he's throwing late down the middle on a Tampa 2 ball that gets picked off when he should just be checking it down because guys are going to be wide open underneath.
So bad, I looked at Jimmy and I said, Jimmy, get ready.
That's right. That's right.
I would have been the oldest quarterback starting for the Bears.
We're going to get to that a little bit later in the show.
You've been a better starter right now. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the next one that comes in is Mark from Yorkville wondering, are the Bears the worst 4-1 team you can remember? Dan, you want to touch that one?
Mark, hey.
No, get on board, right?
That's exactly, no. You know what? You think about all three phases of the game that Lovie always talks about. Well, it's four that he talks about. But anyway, let's go to the three that everybody else talks about. First of all, special teams play. They had an excellent day playing special teams. Defense, outstanding today. Offense, like we said, they did what they had to do to win the football game, and that is run the football. And what do we always say about running the ball? It's not always going to work out every time, but Howard, you can speak to this. You got to keep banging.
Yeah, it's about attempts.
That's
why I thought it was important that the offensive line stepped up and played really well today because they were challenged. But again, when you go back and look at this game film for next week, Seattle will see that Chicago is committed to running the football, even when they had some lulls in the third and fourth quarter, not being able to get a lot of positive yardage.
And the coaches made some changes on that offensive line. We're going to get to that in just a bit. But it's time now for the McDonald's Angus Third Pounder Player of the Game. That is a mouthful to say and enjoy. Each week, we want you to vote on the Bears Player of the Game. Just log on to csnchicago.com to cast your vote. This week's choices. Matt Forte, who was outstanding right from the very beginning. How about Israel Adonijah in the game? 3 sacks for Izzy. Julius Peppers had the big deflection interception. And the two guys who got the start on the offensive line today. Jamarcus Webb playing at right tackle. Edwin Williams playing at right guard. They were opening those holes.
All of them.
For Matt Forte and Chester Taylor. Bears Postgame Live brought to you in part by McDonald's of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Visit csnchicago.com after every game. That's your chance to vote on the McDonald's Angus Third Pounder Player of the Game. We'll have the results later tonight on the Sportsnet Sunday Slant. Time to get down to what happened this afternoon in Charlotte with our opening kickoff. And as usual, we begin with our lead blocker, Dan Jiggets.
Well, again, I go back to what I was saying earlier. Look, you do what you have to do to win, and each game is going to be a little different. Each game is going to be shaded slightly different. This one, we knew coming into this game that the Bears had to keep the football on the ground and not allow the passing game to become a big subject. And that meant, number one, staying with it, but number two, getting out and getting a little bit of a lead so you don't put yourself in that situation where all of a sudden you have to throw the football.
Jim, we're going to take an audible here. We're going to go to Julius Peppers at the podium in Charlotte.
Good, satisfied.
Kind of downplayed it during the week. Did you feel the same way when you came on the field today?
I felt the same way. Like I said, the most important thing was getting the win, moving to 4-1. We did that, so I'm happy. I'm happy with everything. Couldn't be happier.
Julius, what was it like when you went out to the warm-ups and back here in the Bears uniform?
It was fun. It was fun. It felt great. I saw a lot of old faces. It was great seeing everybody. I tried to see everybody I could, and it wasn't any hard feelings or anything. It was just another game once it got started.
Did it have your adrenaline flowing a little bit more, though?
Yeah, it did. I found myself being a little bit more winded earlier, but just because of all the energy. I guess it was nervous energy at the beginning of the game, but after I played a couple of snaps, I settled down.
Let's talk about your interception and the celebration afterward.
I think it speaks for itself. You saw it. It was I was able to get a hand on the ball and tracked it while I was in the air, and I came down with it. And the celebration was self-explanatory.
feel like the crowd reaction? How do you think the crowd reaction?
I loved it. I loved it. I'm over here now. You see my shirt? Like I'm not for the home team, so that's what I expected. You know, I think when I first came out, I heard cheers. You know, but I didn't expect them to cheer me the whole game.
What did Steve say to you over there? Right,
just it was good to good to see each other. You know, I still got a lot of respect for all these guys that just because it didn't work out upstairs, I still got a lot of respect for the coaches and all of the players. And I think you can see that by everybody coming up to me and me I found Coach Fox before the game, shook his hand, had a few words with him. So, it was a good time.
What did you talk about with Coach Fox?
I didn't say anything really. I just wished him luck and said hi.
Is there any part of you that missed Carolina?
Yeah, it's home. Come on, it's home. So I miss. I was here for 30 years. Of course, I'm going to miss it a little bit. But as far as the football part of it, I don't really miss anything. I'm happy where I'm at now.
Did you talk to Arena?
No.
Julius, your line mates, they picked it up this week. Izzy with a great game. The other guys too. How did they play?
They played great. We, I think they felt a little bit of pressure because of all the hype surrounding this game. About my situation, really. So, those guys stepped up to me. They told me if these people out here have a problem with me, they got a problem with everybody. So, they came to my defense and played well.
Can you talk about the interception? It looked like you were on your knees and dove forward. What did you see? Can you describe what was going on?
Schwartz tried to cut me. He didn't get me down. I was able to get my hand up. Ball popped straight up in the air. I was on my knees as everybody else was falling down around me, and the ball just came right back to me. And I pulled it in.
You knew the defense was going to have to obviously show up, especially because of the cover being out. How do you guys think you performed? You really had Clausen moving around.
They got 6 points. We played well. That's what you play for, to keep the score down. We don't play to get stats and try to keep teams down yards. We do want to keep them down yards, but the most important thing is keeping them out of the end zone, and that's one thing that we're proud of because I think that's the first time we did it this year.
Julius, I asked you if you needed to have a sack today. And you said no.
Right.
Got to make a play, and this is what you're talking about.
Right.
A big play, it doesn't really matter.
My impact on games goes far beyond what a stat sheet can say. So. The interception was big. I did other things and run support, and we all played well. I think we got to look at the tape to see just how well we did play, but just from being on the field and seeing it from just seeing it while I was out there, I thought we did well.
What is this victory rates in your career at all the games you played? What does this game rate in winning?
This was near the top. This was near the top because I've never been in this situation before. It's not like I left, went off to college and came back and played against UNC or any of the home teams. It's not like I got drafted by another team and was able to play here before. So this was a first-time experience, and it was special. It was special, and it makes it more better to get the win.
It's your first convincing win of the season. Do you feel that you have to continue winning in convincing fashion to prove the naysayers wrong?
No, we just gotta get better. We definitely got to get better on both sides. But it doesn't matter if you win by 3 or you win by 20. A win is a win, and that's what we strive for. We don't strive to blow teams out. We just strive to get wins.
Julius, you only had 15 family and friends here. What happened to the other 650 people in Bailey?
Most of them couldn't make it. They watched it on TV. The important people were here, so I know they enjoyed it as well.
You seem more the monster than I've seen you in the past. Were you just in the moment? Were you excited?
Not really. I was just having a little fun with the crowd. It's just having a little fun. It's nothing personal. I don't take it personal. Neither should they. I was just having a little fun with them.
Did you see something out of Clausen that made him seem vulnerable or their offense?
He's a rookie. You can only expect so much out of him at this point in his development. He's going to be a great player. He went to a great school. He had great coaches. And I like Jimmy. I like him. You know, I think he's going to be good down the road.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
A very candid and happy Julius Peppers. He played a little basketball at North Carolina as well. He showed off those skills at a leaping deflection and making the interception. You know, we left off, Jim. We're waiting for your opening kickoff here.
Well, I think for the Bears, I talked about Todd Collins setting back the pass game, but, you know, they're not in charge of their schedule. They got a good draw this week playing Carolina that's banged up, and they did what they had to do. Go in there, get up early, and they somewhat made Carolina a one-dimensional football team. So for me, I thought taking advantage of their opportunity.
We're doing the opening kickoff on a piecemeal basis. Here's Lovie Smith.
We wanted to run the football, try to establish the run a little bit to take a little bit of the pressure off of the passing game. I thought we did a good job of that. You know, starting off, you want to get off to a good start right away, and that kickoff return, you know, kind of set the tone a little bit in getting a score. Again, going back to the run, Matt Forte, of course, was outstanding. Our entire running game was good. Saying a lot about some of the new players that played on offensive line, Edwin Williams and Jamarcus Webb getting their first start. Thought they did a good job. Passing game, of course, we did what we had to do. Things we have to improve on. You can't turn the ball over that many times. The ball security has to improve. On the other side of the ball, once you get a lead, though, you have to be able to hold it. We've been up 17-3 here before and weren't able to hold it, but the defense from start to finish, front, linebackers, back end, you know, played well. I don't know exactly how many sacks. We had good pressure on the quarterback. Whenever you play a young quarterback, you have to be able to make him make some big throws. Don't like the way we started, though. Them going down the field right away, you know, running the football, that just can't happen. But and then the takeaways, you know, they start coming. But and once you get a lead and you're playing defense like that, it's hard to win. Special teams, talk about all three phases. Special teams, especially with the big returns, really came through for us. Besides that, you know, we need to get a fourth win on the road. We got it against a good, solid team. I know their record didn't say that, but anytime you play a John Fox or a Ron Meeks coach defensive team, you know that you have your hands full. Take your question.
Why was the running game so good in the early going?
I'm sorry?
Why was the running game so good in the early going?
I mean, you know, it's hard to say exactly why we got it going. Of course, we were committed to it, and the guys did a great job of blocking up front. And I mentioned some of the younger players. You got to talk about the entire offensive line. I've been saying a lot about them when some of the things haven't been going well. They did a super job of setting it up. And then when you have good running backs, we have two excellent running backs, Chester Taylor and Matt Forte, and they got it going today.
Talk about the lack of passing game.
I'm sorry. We'll take this right here first. All right. What was that again?
The short fields you had in the first quarter. Talk about how much that changed.
Well, you know, of course, it's big. You want to have the short field. You know, a lot of times when there weren't a whole lot of passing yards, and it's that type of game, you have to play. Just field position, get yourself in position to at least have an opportunity to kick field goals. But we were able to do that. A lot of times the running game can help that too. But for whatever reason, special team, when we got that field position, we took advantage of it.
Is Izzy Adonijay really taking advantage of an opportunity that you're giving him?
He did some good things, but he's done some good things. There's a reason why we went with Israel. He's a good football player, and he did make some plays that stood out.
Certainly had to be emotional for Julius to come home and talk about his game.
Well, you guys know Julius, of course. He was trying to low key it as much as possible, but when you come home, I mean, that's always special. He has a lot of fans here. A lot of people seen him grow up from a young kid to, you know, the guy he is today. But to come back with another team and win the football game and just do well and let all the people see how well you're doing, of course, is big.
Bobby, there's been talk about Mike Martz not emphasizing the run game. Obviously, with the quarterback out, the situation dictated that you needed to do it. Did you have to talk to him about that?
No.
Did he know that going in?
No. Mike's in our offensive staff. We have good coaches over there. You have to bounce back. Some days it's just not your day, or more than that. But, you know, we are committed to the run. You have to pass the football, too. And believe me, we're not satisfied with the number of passing yards we have, but you have to do and take a little bit what they're giving you. And once we got the run going, of course, we had to ride it.
Lovie, sticking with Todd Collins, were you just trying to see what he could do after taking a break at halftime, or explain?
Well, we're in control of the game for the most part then, and you know, we knew that we were committed to the run, so we felt like we could keep going, and you wanted Todd to finish up, you know, on a high note. But we got to a point where it just felt like we, you know, couldn't let them back in the game, and we said last week, of course, Todd was next up, but we felt good about Caleb playing, and Caleb came in and did a good job.
What do you think it says about your football team when you can win a game like this without getting anything out of your quarterback position, basically?
You have to be ready. I mean, you're going to have injuries throughout the season. And we talk a lot about our 53-man roster. We expected to play here, but to come in on the road, you know, you're 3-1 team and you're underdogs, you know, kind of slap in the face a little bit. But again, we're going to be in a tough situation like that. It's good to see the guys get it done. That had to give us some more confidence.
Can you talk about Todd's performance?
Todd's performance, you know, too many turnovers. I mean, that was kind of, you know, that part was probably obvious, but I thought early on he did some good things. I mean, he was in control when we took a 17-3 lead. You know, a couple of balls were tipped, but, you know, without, you know, analyzing the video, you don't like the turnovers, but still he was in control when we did some good things.
If Jake can't go next week, is Caleb now number 2?
I think it's a little early for us to get into that. We're just trying to really enjoy this win right now. Hopefully, first off, hopefully Jay will be able to go, and we won't have to go down that road.
Is it open then? Is it open competition?
No, we're not that far yet. We had Todd started today. Caleb came in. Both of those quarterback helped us win. That's where we are right now. Hopefully we get our third quarterback in the mix next week.
Was it a familiar kind of game plan to you in a way? I mean, you know, there's been years here without the quarterback where you've had to kind of use special teams and defense and slap it together.
Well, that was definitely old school. Bare ball right there for sure, where you ran the football, played great defense, got some turnovers or some takeaways, and special teams contributed. We know how to win games that way, and it was good to see that we could still do that. But I mean, I'm not saying we're getting off the bus running the ball right away or anything. I'm just going to stay away from those comments. But today we needed to, and we're able to.
The overall, how's your defense played throughout the first 5 games of the season?
The defense has played well every game. Not pleased with how we finished last week, but that seemed like a long time ago. For the most part, the defense has played some good offense as well each week. We've taken the ball away, you know, playing the run and finishing strong. We have good players there we should.
One more to go since his return.
I'm sorry?
Chris Harris, how has it been since his return back to Chicago?
Very pleased. I should have talked about Chris a little bit. Big game for him, just not Julius. And for Frank Omiel also. But big hitter, has done a lot of good things for us. He's kind of the glue on the back end. Thank you.
Out and around for the locker room, please.
Well, this game started out like it was going to be a whole lot of fun to watch. Bears putting points on the board very quickly. Look at the production in the first quarter, and then after that, they pretty much shut it down. It wasn't a great watch the last 3 quarters, but they got the win, and that's what matters. And Howard, we're about 25 minutes into the show. We're going to get your opening kickoff. All right, I promised you.
Well, you know what? I think ultimately it talks about the defense still continuing to play at a high level in all 3 areas. And when I say all 3, I'm talking about the defensive line, the linebackers, and also the secondary. Continue to come up with huge plays. Yes, Peppers made an outstanding individual effort by knocking the ball up into the air and having the presence of mind to find it to come up with the interception, but Brian Urlacher also had one. And I think as long as they continue to play that way, the offense, which we knew was going to take some time to develop and develop that continuity that it's going to need to succeed, the defense is still there for you.
You know, one of the things that we always talk about, Mark, is pressure versus sacks. And today you saw the result of both of those, actually. Number one, you know, the sacks, obviously, when you get quarterbacks who aren't really familiar with what they're trying to do, which is a nice way to say they don't know what they're doing, then all of a sudden the sacks become an issue because you can actually trap them and get on the ground. When you're working against guys who have been in the league a little while and understand what the deal is all about, that's when I think pressure is such an interesting concept to get, make a guy, you know, think before he throws the football.
Yeah, well, especially for a young guy like Jimmy Clausen and where he's at in his career, they're still too busy going through their reads. They get locked on one. It's just slow and kind of robotical in how they work themselves through the reads. And now if you get a savvy veteran, I mean, like I said, sometimes when you feel the pressure, it's better to just dump it off and start logging some snaps as an offense. But you can manipulate the offensive quarterback. Jimmy Clausen is not there yet, but he is going to be a quality pro down the line. But he took a beating today and was not comfortable in throwing the football today.
I think that's the key word you just mentioned at the end, not being comfortable. And that's key for quarterbacks to really get back into the drop. And you talked about being able to throw some of the dump passes, but you talk about pressure as well. It's not 7-on-7. When guys are back in practice and you're throwing against air, you can go through the progression. But when you can't do that out on game day because guys are coming after you.
People have bad intentions.
Yeah, bad intentions.
Well, we knew early in the week that Chris Williams wasn't going to play again today, but we didn't know that they had a makeshift offensive line. They're going to make some changes. Jamarcus Webb, a 7th-round draft pick, started at right tackle. Edwin Williams at right guard. Jiggs, how did you felt they played?
I felt they acquitted themselves quite well. Thank you very much. You know, you look at both of them, and they're side by side. In the run game, they looked awfully firm, and I didn't really see them running into many problems in the passing game. So, all in all, I think those kids did a really nice job. And, you know, keep in mind, now Webb was one of those guys who, as you mentioned, is a late-round pick, a 7th-round pick.
6'7", 320.
6'8", 340 pounds. And why people say, well, why did he last that long? Well, you know what? Sometimes that happens in the draft. I know one thing. There's some people reevaluating their draft status right about now. And the kid alongside of him, you know, Williams looked pretty doggone good as well. Inside, strong, you know, gets out on the move, looks pretty good on the toss play and whatnot, got him outside.
Yeah, well, I thought the key, Jig, because you mentioned their size at the right sideline. Now they're calling plays where you can push off and power it. A lot of the inside zone, Manu Maliuna had a great cutoff block or wash it down on the backside, allows the back like Forte and Taylor to have the vision to cut it back. I thought that's what really.
Yeah, and that's part of playing together too. You know, and that's the tough thing when if you don't have the consistency on your offensive line to have that comfort with, you know, when those guys are going to watch these guys by and they can come on the backside and get something done there. And I'm sure, Howard, as a running back, you look at it and you say, well, okay, after a while you start seeing that flow of the offense. You get that feel, and all of a sudden Matt Forte is coming back, or you see Chester Taylor coming back to that backside and hitting it right up over the center instead of trying to get outside.
And you're right. And when you mentioned that, I thought about Chester Taylor's run that he had when he brought backside, and Olin Kreutz had an unbelievable job of really securing the down lineman and then going up to the second level, which you really don't get a chance to look at unless you're getting that end zone feed. And it was an outstanding block, and you could tell at that particular point they were all rolling together.
A couple other guys, Maliuna did some nice blocking today.
Particularly on the backside.
And the receivers downfield, and you saw it on the Forte long run, on all those big runs today, you see those receivers getting into the grills of those defensive backs.
Yeah, last point that probably needs to be made on the run game, when you're firing off a lot of runs, here the Bears, I think, had 22, you know, in the first half runs in terms of balance. You saw the running backs start to get a feel, like Jig said, when we talk about being patient, setting up blocks. At least to me, Forte and Chester Taylor finally got the ability to get a feel of what it's like to carry the football consistently.
Well, Matt Forte said early in the season he felt 100% healthy again, has that burst, that breakaway speed again. When you look at what he accomplished today as opposed to the first 4 games, you see the big difference. Part of that is the offensive line, but, you know, when he gets out in the open field, Howard, now he's got that extra gear to run away from the secondary.
Yeah, there's been no doubt about that. What an offseason, a true offseason, an opportunity to be healthy has really done for him, and he's really done a good job. And the only time we've seen it really is when he's been able to catch the football out of the backfield. But now all of a sudden we're seeing him being able to make some of those big runs, taking it the distance. He's a lot quicker, a lot stronger than he was when he was a rookie.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, though, is, you know, obviously they go empty a lot in the backfield, the Bears do. You know, they have one back set. They really run a lot. What's the difference between not having a fullback and you know, and then going with one? And especially when you want to rely on the run game.
Well, I think it becomes difficult because now all of a sudden a lot of your zone reads, a lot of zone schemes become more difficult to run. Now, you saw the Bears line up with a tight end in the backfield and start to run weak and have a lot of success. And what they were doing was you had a guard and a tackle, and then you had that linebacker sitting in the back, which ends up being accounted for by that linebacker, so the fullback. So I thought they did a good job of that. But when you don't have it, now all of a sudden guys have to be much more patient because now you have a backside of the blocks also that are reads, good reads for you, but you can't try to bend it back too quickly. You have to be patient, press the front side. You hear people talk about pressing the front side. That's what it means, to get those linebackers to flow over the top and get them blocked by the offensive
and
lineman.
at the same time, the lineman can wash the defensive lineman away. There's usually one guy back here, and you talk about blocking on the backside. If your tackle or your tight end's committed to blocking on that backside, then there's an alleyway. And you saw it even today if you watch the Carolina run game. A couple of times the same thing happened.
Well, what I thought was awesome today, if you saw the couple of the wide trades, normally when you're trading the tight end, whether Kellen Davis lined up on the left goes to the right. What the Bears were trying to do, we call it attacking the bubble in football. They're attacking the three technique where there's a bubble over the guard. The three technique is normally the outside shade of the strong side guard. And that's what I thought Mike Martz did well when they attacked the bubble by trading the tight end.
Well, it was fun talking about the running game. 218 yards, everything was good.
It's a first.
But now the elephant in the room, which was the play of Todd Collins. Obviously, this guy was on the street for a reason. He's going to turn 39 soon. His best days are behind him, and let's face it, he was a career backup. 6.3 passer rating, 4 interceptions, and he didn't look very confident.
No, well, the elephant in the room was deflating. Let's just put it that way. You know, it's not. You know, I feel for Todd Collins because I think he was the best choice to play in this game. Early, it was nice, but he struggled in his read, was late in his reads, did not know where his dump-offs were, and at times you saw an experienced quarterback panic. And that really negates the whole reason why you started him and why they had to go to Caleb Haney. So whether it's just knocking the rust off, I would say not. I would say if the Bears play at home and Jay is not cleared to play, I start Caleb Haney at home.
After all that, other than that, everything was fine. Right?
After all,
it's really weird how sometimes things work out. Didn't he kind of hold him up a little bit when
he did?
They wanted to sign him, and then he wanted some guarantees and everything. I understand why now. Good to go. Man, he hit that one right on the head, didn't he?
Well, there's no hiding about what was going on out there. He did not look like a confident player, a guy who obviously was not in the league. Bears wanted that veteran presence. That's something Mike Martz talked about in the offseason. He wanted a veteran backup.
I just don't get it. He's played too long in the NFL to beg guys to get open. You never beg a receiver to get open. And, you know, at the end of the day, I say it all the time, throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. It's the only play, the best play for your offense. Todd Collins has been in the league, what, 16 years he's logged? He played like a rookie today. And I'm being kind in saying that.
Caleb Haney came in. He got some things done, looked a lot more confident than Todd Collins did, made a couple of good throws, also looked poised under pressure. Obviously, at that point, the Bears had a lead. They were just trying to work on the clock and do some things. What did you guys think about the way Haney looked today?
Well, I think he looked confident in the pocket. And anytime you bring in the third-string quarterback, as Woody was coming into this game, there's always going to be a confidence issue. But he doesn't lack confidence at all. He wants to get out there and get involved. And he may have felt a little slighted by not getting the nod in this game.
Which is a good thing.
That's a great point.
And that's okay.
Right.
But I agree that when you sit down and you think about what took place and what was coming into this game and how the offense was struggling, Collins had to be the guy to come in. Now, it didn't work out. The Bears were smart enough to go ahead and make a change.
Yeah, and it's for Caleb Haney, I've been in a situation where, you know, like Howard said, you feel slighted. The one great thing, he sat there listening to every play call. And he saw how the game was unfolding with Todd Collins. And it's nothing against Todd Collins, but he's chomping at the bit to get in there. I can perform better. I can be a spark for this football team. And he finally, I guarantee you, he was tugging on his quarterback coach's pocket and saying, hey, just come on, just put me in the game. And that's a good thing.
You know, but the other thing is that he can run.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is another thing. You know, like Todd's not going to get out and, you know, and be Usain Bolt. So, you know, but Caleb can make you have to account for him that way as well.
Keep the clock running as well.
Right.
Not make those negative plays. Normally at this point we'd tell you about, check out Jim's blog, 15 on 6. He's not going to write about Jay Cutler, but I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say about the Bears quarterback situation. So you want to check that out at csnchicago.com. As we head to break, we're going to check out our U.S. Cellular poll question, and it has to do with the backup quarterback situation. We're asking, all right, let's go back to the
but high, getting blown back into the backfield. And if that's an issue, just stay low. The lower you stay, they can't blow you out of there if you're down there on the grass.
Yeah, exactly. Low man wins. They actually had the touchdown that supposedly got stripped by Carolina. Ed Williams missed his block. So that's just a young offensive lineman at the right guard spot. He just tried to get low. You give him credit, but he flat out whiffed. He'll learn from that one.
You know, the other thing down on the goal line is it happens quick.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have some young players that aren't accustomed to that quickness on the goal line, they kind of get shocked. Because, I mean, that ball, as soon as that ball moves, guys are moving.
Well, you know, if you try to actually block somebody sometimes down there with that far to go, you're going to put yourself in a tough spot. What you have to do is go to an area because you're right. It happens so fast. The ball snap and the contact is right now because everybody's on top of one another. And if you're starting to look for somebody, you got a little bit of a problem then because if you're looking, that means you're not moving.
Well, it seems like in today's NFL, a lot of times teams try to get too tricky. You know, when you played as a lead fullback, you know, there were two backs in there, lead blocker. Now it's like they're trying to play action pass at the 1 yard line. Do you think you need
out of a wildcat formation?
Yeah, you need a simpler scheme at the goal line?
No, I think you have to continue to develop your scheme as an offense when you talk about on the goal line. I mean, guys are getting paid on the other side too, and they're going to come up with some plays. But one of the plays that always sticks out to me is when you have a tight end or a wing back out on the end man on the line of scrimmage, and you try to run something away from him, so he has to come down to try to crash to stop the inside charge. Those guys are usually laid off the ball, and you see oftentimes a tight end or a fullback being beat that way because he's not accustomed to the snap. He's far away, so as soon as he's looking at the movement of the defensive lineman to gauge when it's time to go, and he's usually going to be late on that.
Yeah, Bears shot themselves. I mean, let's be honest. Todd Collins can't throw the football to the defensive tackle. I guarantee I guarantee you the defensive tackle is not in his read. Okay, so that
Jim,
can't happen.
Did you like rollout plays or play action on the goal line?
Yeah, loved them. You know, you can run if you establish a run game. You can run a lot. You can run bootlegs, waggles. You know, all types of movement plays. We used to call 208, 209, which is a quick hitter, where you just get the slot receiver in the flat and you have a guy in the back of the end zone. Those are always nice because they put the defense in a bind. They have to react quickly, and then you can move on to your second read and throw for a touchdown.
And you like to tuck and run, right?
Yeah, show speed.
Every now and then I like to lower my shoulder.
For the pylon.
Jigs, how about the tackle eligible on the goal line? How about
well,
that
you know,
play?
yeah, you know, either that or you go with, you know, you put the tackles out at the tight end positions if you really want to get some blocking done instead of sending those, you know, those specialists out there. That's what tackles are. They're specialists in blocking. Put 4 tackles out there in that group and line them up and pound them, man.
Right. Well, that's a good point. We gave Manu Maliuni $2 million. He can at least catch a football every now and then.
He is playing almost like an offensive tackle.
Well, no, because he missed a lot of blocks in the pass protection. So,
well, we talked a lot about Julius Peppers making his homecoming to Charlotte. Chris Harris has played for the Panthers the last few years. He is standing by with our Kip Lewis. Guys, take it away.
All right, thanks, guys. By the way, nice matching suit. I appreciate it. You guys. A lot of you guys going with a pink. I noticed that today.
Yeah, you know, breast cancer awareness. So, you know, we're just supporting the cause.
Now, I know homecoming for you. How nice is it for you to come back and get a win here against your old team?
Oh, it feels great to be able to come back against the guys I played with for 3 seasons. You know, I spent, I guess, this is my 6th year, so most of my season, most of my career here. So it felt good to come back in here and get a win.
You guys sort of knew what to prepare for in this game. You knew they probably were not going to be able to throw for a lot of yards. Did that help you guys in preparation for this game?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that their strength on this team is running the football. They got 2 great running backs, so we knew we were going to have to come in and stop the run. So, you know, they got a little something on that first drive of the game, but then after that, I felt we settled down and got things going.
One of the things you guys have been preaching, getting the sacks, getting the turnovers. Again, you guys got that going today. How much did that help you guys, and how much does that give you guys a boost as a defense?
Oh, man, it's great. You know, you got to play with energy out there, and so those type of plays energize the defense to get sacks, get interceptions, fumbles, all of that.
Did you guys do anything different going into this game? You knew you were probably going to face 2 rookie receivers, which you did, a rookie quarterback. Did you guys try and give them some different looks, maybe some things that you hadn't seen, so they couldn't prepare as easily for you guys?
Absolutely. You know, we threw a few wrinkles in here and there to make them have to think and have all 3 of them be on the same page. Right. You know, anytime you got rookies, you know, they might be questioning or things of that nature. So, you know, we just tried to throw some different looks at them.
Chris, appreciate your time once again. I know a lot of you guys got some friends and family to see, so we'll let you go. Guys, hold on a second. We're going to bring in Jamarcus Webb here. Jamarcus, come on in here, of course, getting the start at tackle today, your first start. Hold on, yeah, this is what I do. So you're going to learn this. You know, I don't let you guys come on. I don't let you guys come on. You know what? See, that's how I look out for you guys. But I know for you, you've had a chance to play this year, and we've already talked to you about the fact, hey, maybe you didn't get a chance, you didn't maybe expect to play this much. To finally get a start in the NFL, what was going through your mind before this game?
Oh wow! Don't mess up. Wow. You know, just don't get too jittery. Just be relaxed and play hard.
How much has it helped you? Because it seems like each week that goes on during the season, the coaches sort of have a little more confidence in you. You're playing a little bit more, and all of a sudden they say, hey, you can get the start in this game.
Oh, wow. You know, we took an approach to come out and win this game, run the ball a little bit more. And, they called upon me to help them do that. And, we come out with a win.
You guys obviously knew coming into this game you were going to run the football. You guys had a lot of short yardage situations, and it seemed like they were coming over the right side a lot, which says also they believe you can get those yards blocking for the running backs.
Oh, of course. I mean, like I said, we took an approach to get the ball rolling a lot this week, and they asked upon me and the other starter, Edwin, to help them with that, and definitely helped us today.
Obviously, you're going to get a chance to look at the film of this game, but from what you feel about this game, how do you think you played in this game?
I'll definitely watch film tomorrow. Okay. I did some good things. Also did some bad things, but I got to clean those up and get ready for next week.
Bottom line is, not such a pretty game, but you guys get the win. It's got to be nice to sort of put that Giants game behind you.
Oh, of course. You definitely want to put it behind you. You stick on stuff too long, it'll just mess you up in the head.
All right, Jamarcus, appreciate your time. A guy who makes me look very little on television, I'm sure, guys. That does it from here. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kip, thank you very much. Got to be careful reaching up to straighten the guy's collar. It might squash you, kind of dangerous stuff. But how about the poise this young man shows? 7th-round draft pick, steps into a tough situation and really delivered today.
Here's what's exciting about it. They're young. And if you can keep these guys together and continue to move with this offensive line and get them better week in and week out, then all of a sudden you're going to end up at the end of the year with the line that has some continuity. The problem is if they want to keep switching guys in and out, trying to rotate, that's when your offensive line doesn't have an opportunity to get better.
And I would think the balancing act between the players, because they know if they do not perform well, they're going to get yanked. So at the same time, they don't want to look over their shoulder. I thought today the coaches did a good job. Just, hey, these are our 5. We're going to stick with these guys, and they started to do some good things. So this might be the good building block, Jigs, we were looking for.
Yeah, and everybody says, well, wait until Chris Williams comes back. Well, the train's not going to stay at the station. That doesn't happen.
Good point.
And who knows, I don't know if and when he comes back, whether or not, you immediately insert him into the lineup or not. Maybe you have to wait and see how things go.
Let's talk about the other side of the ball. The defense was really dominant in this game. Carolina came in with the two-headed running back guys with different dimensions, and D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Those guys each had one good run. That's about it. And Jimmy Clausen did nothing. The defense, this was like the 05-06 defense that we saw out there.
Yeah, I think the defense continues to impress. And you saw last week, Ahmad Bradshaw hit him with a couple cutback runs. Like we always say, you're going to see it right away. And Carolina tried to challenge all the holes that they witnessed a week ago from the Chicago Bears, and they still played the New York Giants pretty tough. They close it all down, Jigs. I think the defense, they're 2006 caliber.
Yeah, and they struggled against the run in the first. You remember the first drive that Carolina had. Obviously, they got gashed a couple of times for 20-some yards here, 13 yards there, 64 yards rushing, I believe it was, for Carolina in that first quarter.
Right.
After that, I think they had 85 total in the game. That gives you an idea how they shut it down.
Yeah, 147 total yards. That's getting it done, and 3 turnovers as well.
And that's huge. And anytime you get hit with a couple of big plays like they did early in the game, it's about going back and making those adjustments on the sideline and playing sound football. You talk about them getting out of their gaps, not playing sound gap control. That's what happens when they hit the big runs. But they're smart enough, they're savvy enough to understand the mistakes that they made, and they can make those adjustments really without having to go to the sideline.
And you knew Lovie felt good about his defense at the end when you see him kicking a 53-yard attempt. Rodney Gold goes out for the 53-yarder. Then you know things are working pretty well.
There's the total numbers. 316 on 3rd downs. I mean, everything you look at was very impressive. I know you guys have talked about it in previous weeks. Having that veteran linebacker core now all back, healthy and solidified with Urlacher and Briggs and Pisa has really been a benefit to the entire defense.
Yeah, Briggs has been playing a little dinged up, and I think he probably re-injured his ankle today. But one thing to me that was key today is the way Izzy Adonijah responded. We always talk about when, Julius Pepper, he's going to command double teams. Teams are going to slide their blocking assignments to him. Somebody else has to win. Somebody's getting singled up. Today, Izzy Adonijah, he's getting singled up. The guy absolutely schooled that Carolina offensive line.
I put him on as my spotlight guy last week because I said it's his time. and little did we know that Anderson was going to be released. But I said this is his time to step up now and claim the job. If you don't claim the job, somebody else will. And apparently he's well on his way to claim
Talking about the defense and the train not stopping, we're going to get you back out to Charlotte. Kip Lewis standing by with Tommy Harris.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm with Tommy Harris, who has eluded me for the first part of the season, but now I've got you. Talk about the way you guys played in this game defensively.
We played well. Anytime you go on the road and get a win, it's very difficult, and we did it for Pep. You know, this is Pep old school, so we had to come back and help my man out, get my man back in the groove, so he have his bragging rights.
And you guys did a good job, obviously, stopping the run in this game, something you knew you were going to have to do against this team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we took care of our gaps. I mean, Pep played an excellent game, made a great play. And it's just good to see him come back home and for us to take care of business.
Now, I got to ask you this because you got the suit on. You're kind of going casual with the glasses again. Tommy said the only reason he used to come on the show, by the way, guys, is so he could show off his suit. And now, do you want to talk about your suit today? Because
I crushed him on the suit game. This is nice right here, though, but I'm going to hang around for a little bit, so I didn't put my suit back on.
Tommy?
Dude, nobody sees me. Look at this, man.
Wait, there's the cameras over there. You're turning your back on the camera.
I want you to see
that.
that.
The back.
The back, the lapel in here, like, it's ridiculous, man. This is what I do, suits by Joseph, and that's what I do, man.
This isn't a promotion for your suit guy.
I'm crushing you.
Okay, let me ask you one final. No, you're not. I don't have time. We're on live TV, Tommy. Finally, how big is this to sort of put that New York Giants game behind you guys?
It's been behind us. This is a long season in the NFL. We play 16 games. That game is out of the way, and we're just moving on to the next, getting ready for our next opponent.
All right, Tommy, appreciate it.
Good game,
time.
man. Good game.
All right, Anthony Adams coming in, trying to show off his suit. Julius Peppers here. Come on, I can get you in AA. How excited were you to come back? Just number one, to come back here and play against your old team.
It was exciting. This is the first time opportunity, like I said earlier, to come back home and play against the home team. So that was fun. You know, we had a lot of fun. The guys rallied around me and you know, made sure I got the win. So,
talk about your play. You tipped the ball there, get an interception, and you weren't real modest with the fans out here, by the way.
Nah, you know, listen. I came out here. I had fun with these fans. You know, the fans. You know, I'm on the opposing team, so I expect them to boo and do all of those type of things. And you know, it was fun to get that reaction from them.
You guys knew you had to harass this young quarterback in this game. You got to be happy with the pressure you guys got. You got the sacks, something you guys have been talking about the last few weeks.
Yeah, we working hard. We're working hard. Guys in practice, busting their butt, trying to get better, trying to get to the quarterback. And when you do that, the results show on Sunday, and it looks like we're coming around.
All right, Julius, appreciate your time. Tommy, the suit's okay, but it's, you know, we'll talk about that another time.
Hey, you're not as wax.
See. All right, guys, Tommy Harris, Julius Peppers. Let's go back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kip, thank you very much. All the headliners from Charlotte today. Julius is going to go out and have some fun.
Hold up to you, Kip. Giving. Wow. Watch
Fearless.
tape and then all of a sudden you got fearless, huh? My goodness.
Hey, I want to ask you a serious question, though, about Tommy Harris. Here's a guy, a three-time Pro Bowler, obviously is not playing as much. He was inactive against Green Bay a couple of weeks ago. Do you think Tommy's reaching the point in his career where he realizes he can't do the things physically that he used to do, and he's just going to try to contribute whatever way he can to this team?
Well, you know, whether he's reached that conclusion or not, it looks like that's where he is at this point. Now, I don't know, it's been probably 2 years since, you know, he got repaired from the surgeries and everything else. I don't know if we'll ever see you know, him play that way at that level for long stretches of time anymore. But if you can get it every now and then, you know, if you can get him to get to that level every now and then, particularly in those big games when you really need him, well, maybe that's enough but I think that the one thing that's going to get in the way with him is how much he's getting paid. That's going to be an issue at some point or another.
Yeah, that is the harsh reality of the NFL. It's time for another break here on U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live. We've got more locker room reaction coming up. You'll hear from Devin Hester. We'll also answer your emails. And our guy, John Moon Mullen, will check in from Charlotte. Much more U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live coming up after this short timeout. Moon Mullen, it's the View from the Moon, which we bring you every week here on Bears Postgame Live. John, thanks for joining us. On the positive side, the big shakeup in the offensive line seemed to work. That running game very effective, especially early.
You know, they came out, and I know talked to Jamarcus Webb and to Edwin Williams as well, and it helped both of them to settle into this game, that the Bears came out and really played a little smash mouth right off the bat. So, you know, kind of a conservative game plan, if you will, not what we've seen out of Mike Martz. But the two teams, I think the Panthers ran the first 8 plays. I think the Bears ran something like 4 of their first 5. So it helped a new offensive line really kind of get their feet into it.
You know, with all that was going on in the game today, it was obvious one thing that they were not going to put Todd Collins under a lot of duress in terms of figuring out how the passing game. Will you see him next week if Jay Cutler can't go? Will Todd Collins be the guy to go, or in your opinion, will it be Caleb Haney who goes number 1?
You know, Dan, I would absolutely, and just from things I'm seeing in the locker room, I'd be stunned if it's not Caleb Haney. In fact, somebody suggested, gee, they wonder if Todd Collins will even be here next week, because, you know, this team went with 2 quarterbacks last year. He was 4 for 11 in New York, 5 for 11 here, and he threw 16 passes, and 4 of them were intercepted. This is that's not the stuff that keeps your job.
Well, Moon, good to talk to you again. I mean, the offensive lineman had to be ecstatic. You know, just thirsting to run the football, and just the patience of Chester Taylor and Matt Forte and how they ran the football today. What sort of feedback were you getting from the star running back, Matt Forte?
You know, he's very matter-of-fact, Jimmy. You know, he's one of these guys who never seems to get too high when it goes well, and doesn't seem, almost Julius Peppers. You know, it's almost matter-of-fact. I think he's kind of very smug about, not smug is probably a bad word for it, but I think he's really secretly delighted that he's running away from defensive backs. Kind of like all of you who doubted me last year. That's the one thing that comes through. He seems very pleased, that kind of little Cheshire grin on his face, like, you know, I ran away from those guys, didn't I? So, you know, there was Chester Taylor. In fact, if you notice on his 18-yard touchdown, they had Chester in as the lead back, which is he was laughing about that and said he's never played that before, and it was all about a decoy anyway. So they decoyed to Chester, tossed to Matt Forte, and he just outran people, and he's loving it.
Moon, the defense is continuing to play well, but after releasing Mark Anderson earlier, Israel Donahue really stepped up his game this week. Did you have an opportunity to talk to him? And if you did he have an extra kick in his step today?
You know, Howard, it's really a reasonable thing. I'm not sure I would say it's any extra. It's just, I think he had more reps. You know, he wasn't platooning with Mark Anderson. I don't think there was any fear factor. He just played his game, and I think it was probably as quick as we've seen him. He even said it's his best game in the NFL. He hasn't had a game like this since college. So I think maybe the clearing out behind him on the depth chart, you guys know that does something to your head. I think when you know you're the guy, he didn't have to worry about Mark Anderson coming in and replacing him. He told me he was just really delighted and relaxed out there today.
John, we missed the part of Lovie Smith talking about injuries. Jim mentioned that Lance Briggs had to leave the game, maybe re-aggravating his ankle. What can you tell us about the injury situation out of the locker room?
Yeah, really the only thing I saw was Lance Briggs in a boot. So we'll have to wait on that, and obviously probably wait till next Sunday before Lovie tells us anything meaningful in terms of active or not. So just in a boot, and probably won't practice much of this week, kind of like he did last week.
Well, Lance Briggs in a boot is never a good thing, but Moon and Charlotte is good for us. No. Thank you for joining us. We'll be following you on csnchicago.com. John Mullen live from Charlotte, and that's not good. In a walking boot. Of course, you guys are probably all left in a walking boot and played the next week, so I guess it depends on your perspective, right?
Somehow I think he'll line up next week. So
I don't think you have to worry about him.
Yeah. Das Boot? No, I'm not worried about it.
That'll work.
And Dan, I don't think your comment was audible when John was saying that the Bears only played with 2 quarterbacks last year.
So today it looked like they're still only playing with 2.
Is that a dangerous situation, though? I mean, obviously they used all 3
you gotta have it is a very dangerous situation, and even if you have a guy who you think played a little quarterback in college, could be your reserve 3rd guy, there's a lot of stuff going on, particularly in an offense like this one. You better know all of the intricacies of it. So I don't think you can do that with this one. I think that with this offense you better have 3 quarterbacks that are guys that are officially quarterbacks on the roster.
Well, it talks to managing the game plan, and I wrote it in the blog as well. Normally, I've been in games. I remember when I got released by Pittsburgh down in Jacksonville, we ran 4 plays, 2 runs and 2 passes, because neither myself or Steve Matthews was another quarterback down there, knew the playbook. We just got there and we were running the show. We ran 4 plays in a game and beat the Giants 42-6. You don't have to run a volume of plays. You can motion, you can shift guys, do like that. But we ran 4 plays the whole game and slaughtered the New York Giants. That could be the same situation here if quarterbacks don't feel good about the volume of plays, and you just have to lighten the load a little bit.
And I think that's one more reason to be strongly committed to the run game. Because if you can go out and have a dominant running game that's at least going to be committed to running several times a quarter, not just maybe once or twice, but out there and committed to it, that'll help that situation if you end up in it again.
Did you see Mike Mosh today when he's walking around the sideline? He's looking at his game plan. He's like,
can't use this. They're not near
this is no fun.
And as Jiggs mentioned, Todd Collins already has his guaranteed money, so they could always keep him as the third quarterback, be your 46th guy. You won't tie up a roster spot that way, so he's probably going to be around. We will hear from Todd Collins coming up after the break. Hear what he has to say about that 6.3 passer rating. A reminder to get interactive with us and vote on our U.S. Cellular Bears poll question. Sending back the quarterback position about 3 decades. Let's hear what Todd Collins had to say for himself in the locker room a short time ago.
Todd, is this one of these games where you just kind of have to survive it? You know, you guys were in a tough spot after last week with Jay not being available. Is this one of these games you're just so happy and pleased to get a win?
Yeah, as a group, you know, we played terrific. Obviously, I'm, you know, very disappointed in, you know, my performance is, you know, horrible. But the defense and the special teams and the running game, you know, bailed us out.
Is this one of those things for you where it's just a lot of rust and you just really needed a little bit more reps?
Yeah, I felt kind of out of sync out there. I don't know why. It just things kind of snowballed. You know, and it started off kind of bad, and then it continued to get worse. So.
Lovey said they weren't going to change the game plan for you at all, even though you and Jay are different quarterbacks. Did you guys do anything differently, or was the game plan pretty much what you guys are doing?
I mean, yeah, we had the same amount of volume. I'd say that we definitely, you know, concentrated on the run more this week, probably because how well our defense was doing and, you know, how we jumped out to that early lead.
Well, on the positive side, there were no fumbles. Bears had 4 interceptions, but he did a good job of handing the ball off, didn't he, Howard? As we look at, they were committed to the run, and that's what everybody wanted going into this game.
He was consistent, and I think one of the tough things is, as a veteran quarterback, you're expected to come in and be able to lead your team. And I think one of the reasons people wanted to have him, or I'll speak for myself, thought that it was the right decision to have a veteran quarterback out there is because of what type of offense this is. But it shows that it really doesn't matter if you're not comfortable in the pocket, which he clearly wasn't today. It's not going to matter whether you're a 16-year vet or a first-year rookie.
Well, this is what I don't understand for a 16-year NFL veteran. One, again, it's the right move to play him on the road. You don't want to put Caleb Haney in that situation, but you're up. You're playing with the lead. Your job now is to protect the lead. He's careless with the football. I mean, that's like the ultimate no-no in quarterback 101. So I'm disappointed in Todd. Will he probably play again and respond if he has the opportunity? You would think he would, but he even mentioned he did not feel comfortable in the game at all, which, again, that turns over to confidence. Confidence is going to be an issue with him. If Jay's not ready to play, you put in Haney.
Who would you go with next game?
If Jay is not cleared, I want to go with Jay Cutler. If I'm the head coach, you want to go with Jay Cutler. But if Jay is not ready to play, you go with Caleb Haney at home against Seattle. That'll be good for Caleb Haney, having that 12th man behind him. He'll be pumped up to play.
Time now for the All-State Good Hands top receiver. We had to search long and wide. There weren't a whole lot of completed passes, but Matt Forte, he caught 2 passes for 22 yards, and with that, he is the leading receiver, and he gets our award for the Good Hands receiver. That's pretty impressive stuff.
I was looking for somebody in the secondary.
Well, there really weren't a lot of balls that went around. I mean, the Bears total completed 8 passes. So, you know, 2 is about as good as you're going to do. Let's hear what Matt had to say, because he did a great job running with the football. That's what he's there for. 166 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Here's Matt Forte in the Bears locker room.
You know, it's just a matter of going out there and executing and doing it.
How much more was the emphasis this week on getting the running game going in practice?
I say about the same as it was passing the ball last week, so it's kind of opposite. So, you know, we went out and we wanted to run the ball. We did that, and you know, it made it a easier offensive game for us. You know, to run the ball like that first and then try to pass the ball.
Is that all that was needed? A commitment to running the ball? Is that the only thing that was holding you back?
That's what helps you run the ball. If you're committed to it, you know, you put your mind to it, and you know he calls the run plays, and the O-line blocks like they did. You know, we can run the ball.
So when you're
the O-line, the 2 young guys, Mitch Marcus and Edwin Bolster, talk about the job that they did.
Yeah, they did an exceptional job. You know, to be as young as they are and come out and be poised and get on their blocks and have a run day like we did. That was very good of them.
How did it feel to get in the open field there?
big runs?
Very good. I mean, as a running back, you want to get an open field and get on one-on-one with the safety and all that stuff. So, felt real good.
What about getting those first 2 touchdowns? How did you do in the punting game?
Good. You know, I got 3 receiving touchdowns, trying to get some rushing touchdowns. You know.
You guys just figured once you get that lead on Carolina with a rookie quarterback and the way your defense is playing, it was going to be tough to beat you.
We know our defense is really good, and you know if we get up on somebody early and continue to run the ball the way we did, you know we know our defense is shut down defense, and we can hold them off.
Outstanding performance by Matt Forte, and the Bears now own a 1-game lead in the NFC North because the Packers go into the nation's capital and they lose in overtime 16-13. Aaron Rodgers picked off an OT and Washington kicks the winning field goal. We'll check out the other scores from Week 5 around the NFL, and the Vikings have a tough game tomorrow night. They play at the New York Jets. Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live. A big 23-6 win at Charlotte. Here's Kip Lewis with Devin Hester.
All right, thanks, guys. With Devin Hester and Devin, I think we all knew, including you guys coming in this game, it wasn't going to be a big passing game for you guys. Is this sort of the game plan you expected?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, coming in with your second, third string quarterback, you know, you got to adjust to it. And then it kind of gave us the opportunity to see what our running game was. You know, we really relied on depending on our running game this weekend, you know, Matt Forte and Chester, those guys really stepped up early in the game and really showed big plays.
What does that say about you guys when you guys have to run the ball, they know you're going to run the ball, that you guys are able to do that in a game like this?
It's just that we're not a one-dimensional team, you know, and teams, people started criticizing us, saying that all we do is pass the ball, we can't run the ball. So we proved today that we can come out and run the ball.
How tough was it for Todd in this game? Lovey said during the week that you guys weren't really going to change the game plan, but he really struggled out there throwing the ball today.
I mean, I couldn't really tell, you know, from a receiver standpoint. You know, I felt he did a great job, you know. We're just going to go in and watch film and see the mistakes that we made and try to correct them.
Is it tough for you guys these last couple of weeks? You know, the receivers, you guys haven't been getting as many balls out there in the passing game?
It's tough, you know, the same way, but we know that it's a team effort thing, you know. And at the end of the day, when you win the games, you know, stats don't really matter. You know, it's the team that's winning.
Talk about the punt returns for you. Obviously, in special teams, Danielle had some good returns. You had a big return there as well in the punt game.
Yeah, you got to be able to contribute. You know, especially it gives offense, you know, good field position. You know, I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off the offensive coordinator as well as the quarterback. So, whenever you get good field position and you're close to the end zone and closer scoring, then it makes a lot easier on offense.
All right, Devin, appreciate your time becoming a regular on the postgame show. I'm much happier this year. Guys, that does it from here outside the Bears locker room. Let's go back to you.
All right, thanks to Kip and to Devin. Devin just missing running back that punt. The punter pushed him out of bounds. We'll be hearing about that in the film room tomorrow. Here's a look at our 4 seasons, who's hot, who's not. Hakeem Nicks, Eli Manning both had big games as they racked up a big win over the Texans. Sean Hill, how about his game? The Lions get their first victory of the season, a big one. And Ray Rice, people were wondering what happened to him this season. He had a big game this afternoon as the Ravens roll over Denver. Who's not? Well, Peyton Manning didn't put up his usual numbers, but the Colts were able to hang on for a win. Matt Schaub really struggled. We mentioned the Texans got blown out by the Giants. And Sam Bradford, the Rams had a couple of wins, but not so much today. They were taken to the woodshed by the Lions. We're coming right back with more Bears postgame live. D'Angelo Williams, 51 yards. Jonathan Stewart, 30. That is getting it done. Here's middle linebacker Brian Urlacher talking about Julius Peppers' successful homecoming.
Were you even surprised by Pep on that play, the tip to him?
No, nothing he does surprises me. I didn't even see the play happen. I just saw him catch it. But he's a great athlete. I mean, every time he does something, he doesn't practice all the time. So why not do it in the game?
Think he relished the billing role today with this crowd?
I don't know. I mean, I heard him booing a few times when they said his name, but I'm sure it's tough for him coming back here. You know, being here for so long, growing up here, going to North Carolina, but made some plays for us today.
Hey Brian, you knew they were going to run the ball today. They got something going there in the first series. What did you guys do or did you just?
We didn't do anything different. We just played better. We played more gaps down. The first series, I had 60 yards rushing or something like that. We just played better defense. We got in our gaps. We've tackled better. And that's really all there was to it. We didn't change up anything. We didn't make any adjustments at halftime. We had our game plan. We stuck to it.
How are you feeling right now just about being 4-1 at this point?
I wish we were 5-0, but, you know, we're 4-1. We got Seattle coming up. We have 2 home games coming up, so that's good for us. Good situation to be in.
Brian, what are we talking about the game?
Coming up, our Monsters of the Midway, plus there's still time to vote on our U.S. Cellular Bears poll question. What should the Bears do about their backup quarterback situation? You see the options in front of you. Go to csnchicago.com to make your choice. I promise our analysts will talk in the next segment. We're coming right back.
McDonald's Bacon and Cheese Angus Third Pounder. As if it wasn't enough to make it with a full third.
Now time for Monsters of the Midway. The guys picked their MVP from the big win over Carolina. Howard.
Matt Forte has to be my guy, going for 166 yards and a 68-yard touchdown run. Outstanding job by him today.
Well, love Peppers, love the defense, but we expected of them. I thought it was the group that responded. The offensive line, I thought, deserves the game ball.
And cheers, guys.
Or the Kool-Aid.
I'm going with Matt Forte on the offensive side, and I always break the rules whenever they win. On the defensive side, I'll go with Israel Adonijah. 2 sacks in the ball game. He's coming along, folks. He's going to be an outstanding defensive end for the Bears.
It's a lot of fun to get a chance to host the show today. I was amazed that Jiggs gets like 4 MVPs. What's up with that?
Oh, yeah. As many as needed.
Special dispensation. Well, there's a lot of great efforts on defense, but I'm also going with Matt Forte. 166 yards rushing. That was huge, obviously. Israel Adonijah, though, would have been my second choice. He had 3 sacks. Of course, now he's the regular starter at the defensive end position, and he was sought after by the media after the big victory. Let's hear from Izzy.
What did you think of the little celebration at the end there after that pick?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
You know what was coming?
No, I didn't know. I knew he was going to do something. I didn't know what it was, but he came in and said, hey, he let him know that he was in the building and he wanted everybody to keep their mouths shut. So it was impressive.
If you other guys show you can consistently get pressure on the quarterback, what does that do to free up Julius for maybe more one-on-one?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the game plan. You know, Julius is going to get some attention. The other guys have to step up and you know, terrorize the offense and cause the offense now to change their scheme and, you know, double Julius, double this guy. I mean, just to create havoc. It's the whole premise is all 4 guys rushing together as one. And, you know, we did some of that today. And we still got to get better, but today was a step in the right direction.
Izzy with 3 sacks, a forced fumble, also looking very sharp in the locker room after the game. Here's a final reminder to vote for the McDonald's Angus Third Pounder Player of the Game. Each week, we want you to pick your Bears Player of the Game. You still have time to log on to csnchicago.com to cast your vote. Your choices for this week, Matt Forte, the guy you just heard from, Israel Adonijah, Julius Peppers, or the 2 new starters in the offensive line, Jamarcus Webb and Edwin Williams. How did Jiggs leave those guys out? Just log on to csnchicago.com to vote. We'll have the results later tonight on the Sportsnet Sunday Slant, so you've got until about 10:30 to make your selection. A cellular poll question. What should the Bears do about the backup quarterback situation this week? You know, I thought for sure they were going to try to get Jim Miller out of retirement, but you know what, Jim? They want to go with Caleb Haney. What do you think about the result there?
Well, I'll tell you what, as many times those quarterbacks been sacked, you're right. You better go with 8.
Go with the young guy with escapability, right?
Let the young buck run.
Me down. Well, obviously, the Bears are in good shape now, 4-1. Green Bay loses in this game this afternoon, so they have a 1-game lead in the division. Taking a look at the upcoming schedule, as Jiggs would say, these are all winnable games, but they got a couple of home games coming up, Seattle and the Redskins. They get the bye week and then enjoy a little trick-or-treating, and then they'll play the Buffalo Bills in Toronto. Then they have a chance to host the Vikings and then travel to Miami to play the Dolphins. So what are you thinking, Jiggs, 9-1?
Why not? That's the way my math works.
Guys, what do you think about the challenges coming up? Nice to come back with a couple of home games.
They legitimately have a shot, in my opinion. If they're by the bye, if they're 6-1, great. 5-2, I think you'd be ecstatic about going into the bye.
Yeah, I think if they can find their identity, if they can continue to hold on to what they had today as far as the run game is concerned and continue to build on that, and when Cutler gets back, he doesn't make the mistakes in the passing game, you're starting to look at an offense that can cause a lot of teams a lot of problems.
And that's been the one missing element for the offense to step up and do its part. Yeah. If that happens, good things can happen.
I was going to ask Jim, do you want to make a more conservative game plan with Jay returning next week, or do you just open up the playbook and go with what's going to work against that?
No, I think you're paramount. You have to protect him. So whether you minimize protections, which could minimize the volume of plays called down the field. So, yeah, he's your best bet to take you to the promised land, so you may have to scale it back a little bit.
Well, we'll see if Jay is going to be ready to answer the bell next week. I have a feeling that he will. That is going to do it for U.S. Cellular Bears Postgame Live. For Howard Griffith, Jim Miller, and Dan Jiggets, thank you so much for joining us. Pat will be back next Sunday following that noon kickoff against the Seahawks. More Bears coverage coming up later on Sportsnet Central.